Let's see. I gotta sign in the chat. Am I live? I think I might be live. Hold on. But I got 0 viewers. So I'll wait. See if people hop on. Man, while I try to figure this out. Let's see. Am I live? I don't think I am. Oh, I am live. Okay. Let's see if anyone comes on. So I'm testing this out to see if it works. Let's see. See what happens when I do that. Okay, we got Martin. What's up, Martin? Martin in the chat. So, question, Martin, since you're here, can you see what's on the screen? Help me out. Help me make this a thing. Actually, Martin, can you hear me? Okay. I trusted you, Martin. I trusted you. You'd be able to, okay, you can see it. So you can hear me too then. All right, good. Good. The Kraken, what's up, my man? We got a couple people here, man. Yeah, we got a live stream, man. Nah, it's a live stream. We're live, man. We're live. We got 14 people in here. Am I quiet? Hold on. Give me a second. Let's see if I can turn this guy up here. So, part of this live stream, I'm going to mess with the dB gain here. You tell me if it sounds better. So, part of what this is, to be quite frank, it's a little bit of a test. Figured I might live stream a little bit more often. Think about it on like Mondays or whatnot. Of course, I'll still be making videos. I'm not going to stop making new videos, but I figured it might be a little fun to keep doing this, to do this. But anyway, so as you can see from the runtime, it's a very long video Brittany Venti made. Now, I'm not going to go through the whole thing. Probably only going to be here for about 2 hours. But I did want to discuss the topic, but the reason why I like doing response videos the way I usually do them is because I want to be very good faith and like show most of the context. If sometimes I might do some editing for time, but to get the gist of what the person's argument is, so I'm not cutting them all up and responding to nonsense. So maybe I might have to tackle these longer stuff in live streams, and we can do that. But this topic was interesting to me. I did think that this was an interesting topic. On this one conservative lady, what's her name? Isabella DeLuca, right? So she got in trouble with the right. she did a no good bad thing. I say a no good bad thing, but as you can see, right? Very attractive young lady. We're gonna discuss this topic here, right? So Brittany Venti, she's going to tell us about the jealous women of the right. Apparently, women of the right are of the big mad because Miss DeLuca is very attractive. Now, thematically, hopefully you guys can kind of grasp what I'm putting here on the table. If not, I'll explain it. We're gonna be here for a minute, so let's see if this plays. You guys tell me if you can hear this, okay?
There has been a disturbance within the Christian conservative ecosystem. Desperate for attention and validation.
So you guys can hear that, right? I need some responses. This is interactive. You guys gotta help me out here. So quiet. So am I still quiet? Let's see. Let's see what you say. No good bad thing is a double negative, therefore positive thing. Okay, you hear? All right, good, Martin. Good, Martin. Thanks, Martin. Martin's my man right now. So, let's take it from the top, and we'll begin.
There has been a disturbance within the Christian conservative ecosystem. desperate for attention and validation. You knew what you were doing. Just get an OnlyFans and stop pretending to be a conservative Christian. It's an embarrassment to religious women. My woman sports modest clothing, not clothing that reveals country back row curves. Put on a sweater.
So you guys basically saw what Ms. DeLuca here was doing. Let's go back a little bit.
There has been a disturbance.
Let's go back a little bit, and we're gonna look at this, right? Okay. So what she is doing is she's baking a cake, right? Now, what immediately? No offense to Ms. DeLuca here, but let's just be real for a second, right? If we can all be charitable to each other, to ourselves, what immediately strikes out in the frame of this video? I think I'm pretty sure, not just because we saw little Twitter comments, but I'm pretty sure you too, dear viewer, you can clearly see what this is all about. Like, look, can we, you know what I mean? You know what I mean. So this is an interesting thing, right? Just get my thoughts on this just by itself. I think it would be a little heavy-handed to call that softcore pornography. It's a little heavy-handed. But I also think that if we are supposed to pretend that was not to titillate, not to put emphasis on her attractiveness, I think we're not being fair to anyone. That was clearly Miss DeLuca's intention. I don't think there's any ambiguity there, and I think to pretend that there's ambiguity there is not being fair to us, not being fair to the audience, not being fair to people with common sense and intelligence. You want to know how I know? Let's go back. You want to know how I know? Clearly this is more about her than the cake, because she could have just made a video about the cake. She could have just done that. There's nothing stopping her from just taking the camera and just putting it on the cake batter. Nothing. She could have made a video about the cake recipe. That's not what she did. Instead, what she did was she put herself in the center of the frame. She's the center of the focus. Whether it's her big titties or not, it's her. And then we're supposed to be like, oh, look at this cute lady babe. Come on. Like, can we not? Can we, you know what I mean? So, with that being said, let's look at these responses, right?
Be a conservative
So, just get an OnlyFans. Like, she reads it.
Christian. It's an embarrassment to religious women. My woman sports modest clothing, not clothing that reveals country back row curves. Put on a sweater.
So here's the thing. Should they have responded in such a manner? It's Twitter, right? It's X, you know? To be fair, it's easy to kind of curate this type of response or reaction to make things, I wouldn't say look worse than what they are, but to kind of you know, overemphasize the backlash that it is the internet, and it is just a tidal wave of a lot of negative responses. So instead of just a montage, let's focus on just an individual taking umbrage with what she's doing. I do think that it's fair, and the reason why I think it's fair, particularly for the people of the right, the conservative sphere, okay, is because they are trying to highlight values and virtues that go beyond sexuality, right? And unfortunately, there's a lot of ladies, just in general, it's very unfortunate, this is the truth, whose primary focus on their character and themselves is just how beautiful they are. That's just the nature of it, right? And this again, and so really, when you discuss conservative women, you'll see it in this video with Brittany Venti too, by the way. I'm going to point it out as we go through it. But a lot of women put a lot of emphasis on how attractive they are. They're just being a beautiful person. So unfortunately, when your focus, right, is just on how pretty you are, and she is pretty, right? Like, let me show you, right? This is her without makeup. This is if this is her without makeup, right? This is right. Like she just is a beautiful person, right? When that's the focus, however, then the message isn't about, or what you're even selling isn't really about any virtues or values of conservatism, the right, or whatever ideology they have. I don't really know the specifics. Then it gets diluted, it gets muddied. The focus is not on what you're trying to say, the philosophy, the ideals, but the focus is just on how attractive the lady is. It's on the lady herself. And so many people are like, well, she's just fishing for simps and fishing for an audience, using her sexuality to do so. Well, yes, that's clearly what she's doing. And unfortunately, that's what a lot of ladies on the internet do. So I think it is fair to criticize that. You could be a little bit nicer, I guess, but the criticism, I think is totally fair grounds. I don't think our friend Brittany here agrees, so we're gonna watch. She clearly doesn't agree.
Well, this is all it takes now to be witch hunted. Isabella Maria De Luca is a political activist featured on Turning Point USA. Christian conservatives and also people who weren't religious or conservative at all were so upset by this video of her baking a cake that it went viral. You would not believe the amount of drama that this cake video that is like 3 months old has caused. But before we get into someone acting like a failed pickup about her
Hold on.
tweets with people that are in the
we had to skip. We're skipping.
Rachel Wilson. This person here is Aubrey Huff. Gate through the site. Back to the video. This person here is Aubrey Huff. He is a baseball player that has some tweets with people that are in these spaces. He says that this catfight between Isabella and Rachel Wilson is proof that most today's women even know their sexuality is all they bring to the table.
No. Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty astute.
With a desperate need for attention, crippling debt, drama.
Okay, this was unnecessary. You had me in the first half, not gonna lie. Complete with desperate need for attention, absolutely true. Crippling debt, what does that have to do with anything? Drama, unfortunately, that's just being a woman. I know. Okay, fine, that's a little mean. That's more of a selfish, immature woman. Let's be fair. To be fair, a selfish and immature woman will 110% bring drama. Delusional self-worth, that's fair, but also not really the issue going on here. And a complete lack of accountability, and maybe I'll give you that one. Now, the reason why I'm kind of pointing this out is because if you throw too many different things here, you get lost in the sauce. Like he's right. We're done. The moment he says is proof that even women know their sexuality is all they bring to the table. Done. Because the problem is, now what happens is, instead of focusing on this first statement, we get an out for a lot of, unfortunately, ladies and simps and dudes who don't care, to then say, well, what does this have to do with anything else? The crippling, what does debt have to do? And drama, delete, what does that do? No, we don't need any of that. Just say their sexuality is all they bring. That's the conversation. Just keep it, just focus. And I think the reason why it's so important to stay focused is, lately I've been seeing a lot of different internet arguments and different debates and different topics, and people love to go and get lost in the sauce and lost in the weeds and whatnot. And it completely just misses the point, and a very important point where we need to pin it down and discuss that topic. And also, this sets him up for failure. You guys are going to see. This is going to be funny. This man gets set up for failure. Well, he set himself up. But, Bass, you should definitely do more live streams. Yeah, I'll try. This is mostly a test. Usually I do this. I do a little test stream, kind of see how it goes before I really invest. I'm also kind of testing out this microphone, testing out the audience, which would be you guys. Just a test, just trying to see how it goes. Crippling debt is an issue. You are correct. You are correct, Boda. It is an issue. It's just not this issue. It's not. This problem doesn't have anything to do with debt.
Delusional self-worth and a complete lack of accountability. So keep in mind with Aubrey's tweet here that he says to Isabella, the cake girl, that she is desperate for attention. He is the one complaining about her not being modest. Hold on, I gotta make sure my modesty stays put. Isabella responds to said tweet, which is now deleted, and she says, "Is that why you DM'd me? Because of my, quote, delusional self-worth and, quote, desperate need for attention? This
Yeah, bruh got cooked.
you?" And then it's a photo of Aubrey Huff.
She said, "This you, bruh got cooked." He got cooked. Hold on.
Sliding into those DMs. "Hey, beautiful. Let's collab over cocktails and bad decisions." Why does he talk like a crusty, horny guy on Tinder?
He got cooked. He set himself up for that one. Talking about a time bomb. Now, there's a couple of different things that are I think are really, really very interesting. There are so many layers here. So many layers. Okay. Man, where do I even start with this? The analysis here. Let's start with point of fact number 1. Point of fact 1, Miss DeLuca, right? Miss DeLuca here. You know what she did? I'll tell you what she did. She got his DM. She read it. She hung on to it. Right? Hung on to it. Now, I actually think, if I'm looking at this, that was right on Christmas. Yeah, goodness gracious. So she read it, hung on to it. Couple of weeks later, which probably was like, what? Sometime last week, sometime last week this kind of all started. When did Brittany upload this? 5 days ago. Yeah. Held on to it. To do what? To drop it at this moment. Now, of course, I don't imagine Miss DeLuca here, right, had her Sharingan activated. I don't imagine she used her future sight to know that it would, at some point in time, she would need to pull out this tweet. But it is interesting to me that she read it, she held on to it, and she knew she could pull it up later. Okay? It's a little disrespectful in some ways, right? To ignore people in such a manner, which, to be fair, I mean, she could have just responded with, "No, I'm not interested." Not interested. No. The answer is no. But instead of having, how do you say, I'm going to use integrity. There's probably a better word to use here. But instead of just like respecting the shooting of the shot, instead of just respecting that he found her attractive and he wanted to talk to her. Now there is he might be married. I don't know if Aubrey Huff, if he's married, this is just disgusting. If he isn't married, instead of just respecting that he is indeed trying to slide into her DMs, she has to embarrass him with it. Now, to be fair, he set himself up for it. He shouldn't have sent this DM and then made that public tweet. He did, that's the old one too. But at the same time, when you look at the layers here, it's still not a good look for her. I'm not really fond of this screenshot nature of men trying to shoot their shot at women, and then ladies then taking that and then using it to put them on blast, to disrespect them or to insult them. That's not nice. I say that's not nice, right? It's very disrespectful. It's not good. It's not fun. It's a terrible thing to do. So honestly, I say there are no winners here. No one wins here. No one looks good. Aubrey doesn't look good, and I don't respect it when ladies do this. If it's a private DM, then you just keep it there. There's no reason to expose people like this. Just, have some integrity.
Sliding into those DMs. "Hey, beautiful. Let's collab over cocktails and bad decisions." Why does he talk like a crusty, horny guy on Tinder?
So puppy lovers, you say this whole thing sounds like a really bad CW drama. I can understand why you say that. It does sound like an episode of Conservative Dawson's Creek. But the reason why I think it's interesting, Brittany says some interesting things. I was watching it alone, right? And she was saying some interesting things, and I thought, maybe I'll throw this up here. Now, there's also another important reason why I'm doing this. I want you guys to take a look right here, where she says, "and the manosphere." So, for some reason, I don't fully grasp what it is, but Miss Fenty is not fond of the manosphere. And me being a part of the manosphere, I do feel the need from time to time to defend this space, because even though I don't agree with everyone in this space, even though I too will criticize and argue with people in this space, I find it really interesting that young ladies take umbrage with it. It's very weird to me that ladies don't like the manosphere. It's like, if you don't like these men, leave them alone. You don't have to interact with them. You don't have to date them. And yet still, they come on the podcast. They interact with them. They end up in their polyamorous relationships with them. Just leave these men alone. Incels are already deselected. MGTOW already left. Men's rights activists just want to be treated better legally. What issues do you have with the manosphere? Now, I find it interesting. There's a few issues that they have with the manosphere, which we'll probably get into in a little bit. But it's really this right here, and the manosphere, where the manosphere gets included in right politics or conservative politics, which isn't really accurate, actually. Interestingly enough, there's a lot of people in the manosphere who you would probably look at politically and you'd call them more liberal-leaning, really, if not apolitical. I like to think of myself as a political mercenary. I just kind of go to whatever issues or thoughts makes the most sense to me. But I also say that to be funny, too.
I just noticed this too. He says crippling debt. Meanwhile, his bio is literally begging men to pay for his alimony payments. He's literally begging people to pay his bills, but he's calling her desperate. He thinks he's a princess. He wants men.
I'm pretty sure this is being tongue-in-cheek. I don't know. To me, this is a bit lowbrow. I'm pretty sure he's being tongue-in-cheek, and maybe she's just doing this to pad out the video. The video is too long for that. We need some hard-hitting jokes.
Men to pay his bills. And then he's a celebrity. He doesn't even properly ask her out to dinner. He just slides in her DMs like a little sleaze bag, like, want to get cocktails and fuck. I like how he complains that all these modern women, all they offer is sexuality, but clearly that was good enough for him. And this,
but Brittany, that kind of more confirms the point than it does like refute it. If that's kind of the entire point. That's all she has to offer. I want you to kind of like look at this, right? Let's look at Miss DeLuca here. Right, DeLuca, very beautiful lady, very pretty. Let's go on Twitter. Let's go on her Twitter. So, day 7 posting a picture because leftists and women keep hating on me. So she literally, now this was like about a year ago, well, almost 2 years ago. She said, "Look how pretty I am. Keep hating me because I'm pretty." That's that's what she did. I didn't make her do this. This is what she chose to post. No one told her to do this. No one told her. No one said, hey, try to keep making ladies salty about how beautiful you are. She chose to do that. So if he then comes, what's his name? Aubrey, whatever, comes and he's like, hey, you have shown us that you're an attractive woman. Can I do something about that? I don't see how anyone can be upset about that. Well, I see how you're upset about it, but I do think that you're kind of acting you're kind of acting brand new. You're acting real brand new. We're going to go back over here to her tweets a little bit. This one's pretty interesting. I just read this. We'll get back there. We'll get back to it.
This is really embarrassing for him, which is why he deleted his
Oh, she's
Twitter.
right.
But yeah,
Make no mistake. Brittany is right. That was an awful look.
she's the one with the lack of accountability, I guess. She clapped back so hard that it made the news. Imagine you are so dusty that you make the news. It doesn't really seem like it's about her doing something morally wrong by baking a cake in a t-shirt and being naturally well endowed. It seems
this right here. Okay, so dear viewer, let's just go back. Let's just go back and listen.
for his sexuality. He deleted his Twitter. But yeah, she's the one with the lack of accountability, I guess. She clapped back so hard that it made the news.
Okay,
Imagine
right
you are so
Oh my
dusty
gosh.
that you make the news. It doesn't really seem like it's about her doing something morally wrong by baking a cake in a t-shirt and being naturally well endowed. It seems like it's about
No, that's not fair. It is not fair to suggest that she just so happened to have big titties and she just so happened to put it in the frame of that video and she just so happened to make a video baking a cake, and we don't have an entire Twitter media thread of her putting her face and her attractiveness in the forefront. Now she put some other memes up here, but let's not pretend let's not pretend that her being attractive isn't an important point to her social media branding and her quote unquote conservatism. Let's not act new. This is what I'm saying. Don't pretend. That's what you have to defend what she was actually doing. You can't minimize it and then say, well, no, she just has big titties and she just was wearing a shirt. She could have wore a big. Can we not, bro? Can we not? Can we stop, bro? Can we not? Come on. That's one time. Sure.
About him getting rejected.
Now, here's another important thing to add. What's important, she did add the recipe. I just noticed this. Here's the recipe. What brown butter caramel cake recipe. So she added the recipe, right? What's important to note here, right? Let's just be fair, again, to our common sense and our ability to be intelligent human beings, okay? And intelligent human beings, okay? We're intelligent human beings. Women spend a lot of time focusing on their physical attractiveness, like a lot of time. Why are we pretending that she didn't know what she was doing here? Can we? Okay, just to be clear.
And you'll notice that this is a repeating theme throughout the video, that it's never really actually about being modest. If her baking a cake at a normal camera angle while being fully covered was such an issue, then how come this video is only now going viral when it was posted 3 months ago? It's crazy that this video has millions of views now, and it went viral for her just wearing a high neck t-shirt filming in portrait mode. But they're saying that, oh,
Again, with the minimization. Brittany, are we supposed to pretend that you don't look in the mirror and consider your clothing and your dress and your hair and your makeup before you make a video? Are we supposed to pretend that you don't do that? And are we supposed to pretend that Miss DeLuca here didn't do that either?
oh, her breasts are center of frame. Like, where else are they supposed to go? It's like, oh,
Not be in the frame.
sorry, I'll just...
Wear a bigger shirt. She could even take the camera and just have it higher up. She could take the camera and she could point it down towards the cake batter. She could literally just make a whole video where she actually explains the recipe instead of just this little thing. Because let's be real, right? What is she really doing here? Okay? What is she really doing? I'll tell you what she's really doing here. This is a fantasy, okay? And the fantasy is that an attractive, beautiful woman is baking you, dear male viewer, a cake. That's what this is. Okay? That's what she's doing. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend otherwise. Like, that's not what the entire purpose. She didn't make this video to share her brown butter cake recipe. Let's be real. Let's not pretend that that was the purpose of this. Here's the thing. Watch this. Notice that she could have just made the entire video just on the ingredients in the batter. She didn't. And why didn't she? Because she wants her, the fantasy, her, this good conservative white woman, baking to be the focus and forefront. And that's why you follow and subscribe. That's what that is. That's what that is.
just leave my breast at home next.
And so ultimately you have to defend that. You can't minimize what she's doing like we don't understand the purpose behind all of this. You have to defend what she's actually doing.
Time. I don't really think it's about the framing, though. I think that if she were flat-chested wearing the same shirt, that nobody would have a problem. You would never see people...
If she was flat-chested and the shirt was tight enough to show her tits, yeah, they would have the same problem.
People complaining about the girl on the left, and her shirt is just...
Well, okay. One, we have to discuss the intent. Like, the girl, I'm pretty sure that's like a casting photo, if not just like a stock photo. Like...
That's just tight. When you have a smaller frame, meaning you're not overweight but you still have large breasts, it's very difficult to find t-shirts that are flattering, because if you wear an oversized shirt, you just look frumpy and fat. And I really...
Oh, no. You look frumpy and fat. Oh, heavens. Oh, no. God forbid you look frumpy and fat.
really empathize, because I...
See, here's the issue. The real... You have to understand that if you're trying to argue that you're trying to look appealing, then again, you're arguing against your point. You're not arguing for it, Brittany. If the point of what you're saying is that you're trying to wear shirts that flatter your figure, you're then trying to accentuate it. You just wear a big shirt. Just be frumpy and fat. If the intent was about this brown cake, just be frumpy and fat. No one cares. It's okay. It's okay to be frumpy and fat. Let me ask a question. Are frumpy and fat women supposed to not exist on the internet? Is it wrong to be a frumpy and fat woman on the internet now? What's wrong with that?
I know what it's like to be in that position where nothing you do is good enough. If you have a big chest and you're not fat, good luck finding flattering clothes.
Okay, again, keyword, flattering. Just wear clothes. It's okay. You don't have to be sexy or attractive at every moment of every day. Especially like just you can be a frumpy fat woman. I don't know why we're pretending that you can't just be an unattractive woman. Be an unattractive woman and a conservative. It's okay.
I know personally that I have to bring a lot of my clothes to the tailor. I have to pay for it to be tailored because they don't make clothing that fits my body.
Well, they do. It's just too big. It's just not flattering, which means you're proving the point. You're not going against it. You want to be attractive. You want to look good. That's why you have your clothes tailored to fit your body better, so it accentuates your titties. Let's not. Can we? Come on. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Come on.
So if I wear this huge oversized shirt, I don't look skinny in it necessarily.
No one cares.
In real life, because when I turn, now I look obese.
You look fine. No one. See this. Okay. So this is a great example of why I wanted to do this video, right? I say this live stream, right? There's nothing wrong with this. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this. You can bake a cake like this, right? You can discuss philosophical ideas like this, right? If the focus isn't on you being an attractive woman, then that doesn't need to be the focus. If you just are a naturally beautiful woman, then it doesn't really matter what you do. You're just gonna be pretty. That's just how it is, right? Too bad, so sad, or maybe that's wonderful and great. But if you just wear an oversized shirt or just a regular shirt, then you just actually have to come with something interesting. You have to come with merit.
Because my chest is bringing the fabric out to here, which makes me look fat.
No one cares. Let's say it does. Who cares? You care. And why do you care? Because being attractive is valuable to you because you know that it gets more people to pay attention to you. That's what that's all about. If the strength of what you were saying was more powerful than you being attractive, then it wouldn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's you're more highlighting the issue of Miss DeLuca here than you are refuting it.
Versus a girl with a flat chest, it looks like that, so they look skinny. So it's just really frustrating if you manage to find a shirt that flatters you and doesn't make you look fat and then you get witch hunted for it. Nobody would be saying, oh, you knew what you were doing. They would not be saying that if she were flat chested and wearing the same shirt. This is really no different than when the left tries to cancel women who are curvy in media. Like, how dare Tomb Raider give representation for girls who naturally have that body type?
Well, let's not pretend, okay, that Miss Laura Croft here exists for representation purposes. She doesn't. Okay. Now, Miss Laura Croft, if you go back, let's be a little fun here for a second. If you go back to the original, what was Tomb Raider? Was Tomb Raider released on PS1? I think it was PS1. I could be wrong. You realize the point was to accentuate her femininity, to make it clear with the best of their technology that this was a woman. And how do you do that? You use the titties. No offense, ladies in the audience, but your titties are a huge indication that you're a woman, right? Go figure. So that's really what it was. And then from there, as polygons got better, as technology improved, they just made Laura an attractive woman. Why? Because men like attractive women. It's not about representation or anything like that. It's just, most characters in most video games look attractive. And to be fair, they probably should, since they're action games, they probably should, more realistically, be pretty fit individuals. But it's not nothing to do with representation.
It just seems like either way, you're being canceled for being beautiful.
Well, that's a real vain take, Miss Venti. You're not there. She's not being canceled for being beautiful. She's being canceled for putting herself before the message of conservatism. That's the problem. It's not her being pretty. People would be fine with her being pretty, you know. But when being pretty is the only thing that of value that you really are pulling up, and people take umbrage. I want to go back here, right? This is a great example. I say a great example. I couldn't have done this myself. The only biblical marriage model is submission. What an amazing take, Mr. Luca. What an amazing take. Where did you get that from? The Bible, of course. You think there might be just a little bit more detail that you're supposed to be sprinkling in here? Also, who is this tweet for? Do you think she made this tweet for young ladies to then go, oh, I'm just supposed to submit? Submit to what? Submit to who? Well, my husband. Why do you submit to your husband? Because I'm supposed to? No, you submit to your husband. Why? Because your husband has submitted to God. Your husband submits to God, and then he loves you like Christ loves the church. And because his intentions are the best for you and your family, you submit to him. That's the whole chain. Now, a lot of people do not want to. Oh, did I mute my microphone? Anyway, so the whole point of this here, this tweet here, is for men. This is not for young ladies. It's not to convince them to be submissive. It's not the point. Yeah, I did mute, huh? I tapped my mic. So my microphone, unfortunately, has a very, very sensitive mute button on the top of it. Oh, oh yeah, I know, guys. My bad. I'm back. I'm back. I tapped my microphone, unfortunately. Yeah, unfortunately, I tapped it. I was moving too fast. I was talking with my hands. But anyway, this tweet here, there's no real analysis here for young ladies. There's no convincing. This exists for young men. She's saying this for young men. She wants young men to read that and say, "Oh, she's one of the good ones. Oh, thank goodness. Oh, yes, I love it." That's what that's for. What else? Videos like this, you have the same people who most likely voted for him urging Joe Biden to create a ceasefire in the Middle East. Same man who has 3 wars under his belt and now possibly another one. I don't care. Stop Hamas. Thank you, Mr. Luca. Beautiful. Stop. Thank you. Pro-Palestine. What are we supposed to do with this? What are we supposed to do with this Twitter page? Come on.
Even when, in both instances here, the women are wearing high neckline tops. But it's not enough. It's the same woke cult mentality, it's just on the other side of the horseshoe. I thought this was the whole...
No, I don't think that's a very fair or reasonable analysis. At all. It's not the same at all. Not even close to being the same.
point of body
Because here's the thing. When you analyze this, the reason why feminists are upset with Miss Laura Croft, there's 2 reasons why. 1, it appeals to men and they hate men. There you go. 2, it highlights features and traits they don't have, and it makes them insecure. Because despite the fact that they hate men, they still want men. They still want men to desire them. They still want men to protect them. They still want men to give them stuff. They still want men's validation. They still want men. They can't escape from the fact that they want men. So when they see video games with attractive women in here, they see something that takes men's attention and validation away from them. And it bothers them. They don't like it. That's what this is about. It's about that. The conservatives, on the other hand, are upset that the forefront of what Miss DeLuca is saying or presenting is that she's pretty. It's not the same thing.
line tops, but it's not enough. It's the same woke cult mentality, it's just on the other side of the horseshoe. I thought this was the whole point of body positivity. Isn't it supposed to be for people who are naturally a certain way and not just for obese people? I'm sorry, but I fail to see how this conflicts with Christianity. She's wearing something that you would probably...
Well, conflicting with conservatism isn't the same as conflicting with Christianity. There isn't like a quote-unquote direct conflicting nature of it, unless you wanted to argue in a meta sense that she's trying to. There's an argument here. I'm trying to see if I can make it, because I don't think there's any like direct. I'm thinking. So it's not so much, again, well, number one, no one is saying this conflicts with Christianity. She kind of, I don't know where she got that from. But the idea that it conflicts with a modest nature or a modest desire, that would be true.
Probably wear to church. I think people
I don't think you'd wear that to church. Well, maybe you could. I don't know.
are just projecting and thinking she's focusing on her boobs when in actuality it's them focusing on her chest. Because again, if we took the same exact framing here, but we put this girl in it, nobody would have a problem with the framing. So this is where things get interesting. Grandma Tomasi enters the fight.
I am not red pill adjacent. I am in the red pill. I am the father of the red pill.
You call yourself the godfather of the red pill.
You call myself the godfather of the manosphere, okay? Other people have called me that.
Okay, great. That's very...
Do you understand?
Okay.
The grandmother of the red pill has something to say about a woman baking a cake in her kitchen, and it's women...
Now, for some reason, Miss Venti is not fond of Rollo Tomasi. I'm not entirely sure what happened between the two of them. I know that Miss Venti did an op on him with Lauren Southern, and I don't know why. I don't really know what her disdain, what Mr. Rollo did to her personally or ideologically. I'm not really sure where this frustration comes from, to be honest with you.
Women's only real agency is their sexuality. And Grandma Tomasi replies to a video of a girl making food in a bikini saying, "No cross necklace." So that's his point of contention, her wearing a fitted t-shirt and wearing a cross while baking a cake. And that's really interesting considering he has no problem with this woman wearing a bikini and a cross, using her to promote his brand. No problem with them wearing a cross with cleavage and a bikini and them posting it on social media for everyone to see for attention then. You know, the cross necklace doesn't matter so long as it benefits them. These modern women are...
But here's the problem. I don't think Brittany understands that this doesn't refute anything Rollo said there. I don't even think Rollo was saying that it's wrong. I think Rollo is just making an observation. If the observation is that women's only agency is their sexuality, and then you show a picture of this woman being close to him because she's pretty, that would again confirm what he's saying. It wouldn't refute it.
Are just grifters showing their tits and wearing cross necklaces until you...
I think the detail she's picking out is the fact that Miss DeLuca was wearing a cross, and I guess she's supposed to be a Christian.
Can take a photo with them. So I don't really think it's about Grandma Tomasi hating these grifter sluts. I think it's about the control. The manosphere doesn't hate sluts. They hate inaccessible sluts.
Nani? Nanda?
They're okay with
Nani kore?
you being a slut so long as they profit from it.
Huh? What?
Manosphere commentators and podcasts where their whole premise is to make fun of and dunk on modern women for being sluts and going on OnlyFans, and then they're profiting off of it, basing their inaccessible.
Okay, hold on. Okay, all right. So this is hold on.
Aussie hating these grifter sluts. I think it's about the control. The manosphere doesn't hate sluts. They hate inaccessible sluts. They're okay with.
So I don't even know how to even begin to tackle that first sentence. They hate inaccessible sluts. See, that doesn't make sense. Or maybe it makes sense, just not on the surface, right? So one thing that I've come to realize about promiscuous women is promiscuous women are very particular in the type of men they're promiscuous with. So if a woman is usually a slut, it's usually she's like, for like a basketball player, for instance, or like a stockbroker, or like a scammer, or like a football player. It's like they have a particular type that they hover around. Women don't typically have a bunch of sex with anybody. They usually only have a bunch of sex with the same type of person. Now, of course, that begs a very interesting question. If you're going to go around having sex with the same type of person, why don't you just have sex with one of them? But Yeah. Right? It would beg that question, but um so I guess you could say that some dudes would be upset that a woman is promiscuous and they can't indulge and they're jealous. Yeah, sure. That could be true. I don't think that's what's going on here, but that could be true. Um but I don't even then to come to that conclusion, you're not going to figure that out like on the surface. You kind of would have to be a little bit more verbose about it.
With you being a slut, so long as they profit from it. These manosphere commentators and podcasts where their whole premise is to make fun of and dunk on modern women for being sluts and going on OnlyFans. And
No, this isn't fair to say that their entire premise. The entire premise isn't that at all. There's an element to making fun of promiscuous women who then hit the wall. In fact, there's a couple of channels like that on YouTube. That's fair. You could say that the Whatever podcast and Fresh and Fit and other podcasts, maybe to a lesser, maybe the same degree, will take advantage of these women who are thirsty for attention and validation and will come on their podcast. They take advantage. Sure, that you could say that. But to say that that's the entire premise, I don't want to feel like I'm nitpicking here, because I think it's important that while it's true that that's an element to the manosphere, to the people that are a little bit more, dare I would say, higher-minded, the point isn't simply to just look at this as misery porn or revenge porn and to say, you will get your comeuppance later. My purpose oftentimes is always to say that this is the worst portrayal of being a young lady and you shouldn't do it. Ultimately, the idea is to dissuade young ladies from following that path. Not just simply making fun of it. I don't think I've ever made fun of a woman just for being a slut. I think I might have made a couple of different snarky remarks, or I've definitely made jokes, but I've never been like, you nasty little whore. I don't think I've ever done that. And while it's, again, so I have to give Brittany, I'm going to say half of a point that element is there, but I also think that you can't really, you can only really criticize that so far as the sluts still exist and they're still doing something wrong, and they are pointing it out and criticizing that. And honestly, here's the goofy part. A lot of the dudes who run the podcast, no offense, they're not the ones that have the problem with the ladies. And that's another really interesting thing about the manosphere. Everyone's not aligned on the same exact, value set, number one, but number two, the same exact opinions. I mean, ultimately what keeps the manosphere together is we're trying to discuss how to interact with modern society and how to interact with modern women. That's the umbrella of the manosphere. And that is the consistent through line no matter where you go. I'll prove it. When you look at MGTOW, they say we don't interact at all. You look at black pillars, you say, you either look smacks or you just give up, right? You look at red pillars, you say you adapt, you become what they desire, you become what they want. When you look, again, the whole through line is how do we interact with modern women in society, right? So that's how that is, right? So, yeah, that's really what it is. Let's go. Says, I can't believe you spent $200 to ask whatever podcasters a question. Well, my friend, between you and me, I am going to use that footage to make a full-on video. What happened was a little bit of a mistake. It's a big mistake. I meant to put it in as a text-to-speech thing, so it would interrupt their conversation, so they could address my question. But mistakes were made. And I could have just spent $99 and he just would have read it. I sent the super chat on YouTube instead of their text-to-speech thing on whatever thing they use. And yeah, that's all it was. Again, I am using, look, the video's not out yet, obviously, but make no mistake, I will be using that footage for a video in the future. It will pay its dividends, I think, maybe. But that was the reason why. I didn't just ask that question. Now, I want you to notice something, actually. Let's take a break from this. And let's go to that episode where I spent $200. This one right here. Was it this one? I think it was this one. Let's see if it comes up. Yeah, because Andrew Wilson was there. Now, another reason why, my dear viewer, I want you to notice something, okay? Now, I was using... Is this going to load? It might not load. But anyway, so another important aspect, not only am I going to use this information or use this clip here for a future video.
Show up to my house and just like knock on
but
the door.
yeah, here it is.
There and then leave.
But the point was,
what's the average?
If this thing will work,
yeah,
mercy.
It's bad.
I'm trying to get this to pause, but my computer is acting slow. It might be Streamlabs, but anyway. So Andrew Wilson was there, and he did exactly what I thought he was going to do. He played around with my question to create content. So, and here's my question. So, my question was, I said question for the Nala and the women generally, and a layup for Andrew. Again, the point was to get him to interact with it. Why is honor and virtue not the most important thing about men to you? I only heard one lady talk about how character is important. How could you ever let someone without honor and virtue have sex with you? Discuss, please. And again, the purpose was for discussion. I didn't just give these guys money for no reason. And I want you to notice something too, because you're not the first person that's brought this up, which I think is really interesting. It's really curious to me. I don't really get this, because you're not the first person that said this and say, why did I spend this money? Again, it was a mistake. I didn't mean to spend $200 if I didn't have to, but the purpose was, again, for discussion. Like, I want you to notice something, because clearly you watched the Whatever podcast, and this is to Brittany's point. I'm actually really glad you said that, because this is to Brittany's point. You'll notice that a lot of the people who send in super chats are just making fun of the women. They're just being mean. They're just saying they have herpes. They're just insulting them, right? I think I was the only person I remember that's ever introduced, no, I'm not saying ever, but at least recently, that would introduce a topic for discussion to actually talk about things. The vast majority, and this is actually kind of going back to the other point I was making, before I read your comment here, was that, to Brittany's credit, what she is seeing isn't just making it up. She does see a lot of people on these podcasts send in super chats to make fun of these women, and I see it too. She's not wrong. She's not wrong. Now, unfortunately, because these people who go on the Whatever podcast do indeed hurl all these insults and whatnot at these women, it does make a lot of dudes in the manosphere look terrible. It does. They're not really helping the public image out at all. And don't get me wrong, I understand. I get the frustration. Like, I do. I get the frustration with a lot of ladies and their terrible behavior and the way they act with young men. I do get it. But the problem is, if that is the portrayal in the biggest areas, the biggest podcasts, the biggest video clips, then ultimately you're going to give ladies like Brittany a leg to stand on when they say the manosphere is about hating on sluts. Because it really isn't. It's not. When you actually deep dive, when you actually invest, and you actually watch the literally 10 years of videos in this space, probably a little bit more than that, you're going to find it's far more robust, far more intelligent than simply sluts be bad. But if you only just look at these podcasts and get these viral clips, what do you see? These women being made fun of all the time. So on the one hand, I do have to criticize Brittany by saying, look, you're being pretty shallow. But on the other hand, it's like, I do understand where this shallow criticism comes from. I can't pretend otherwise.
And then
See, because check this out. If more people sent in super chats like I did, which again, I'm not the only one who sends in interesting questions. I just think I was the only one who did that day. But if more people were super chatting for interesting conversations, interesting thought pieces, and wasn't just making fun of these women, then how would people view these viral clips? A lot different. They viewed it a lot differently. Just saying.
They're profiting off of it, basing their entire brand off of them after they dunk on them for doing the same thing. So long as they can put your OnlyFans photos in their thumbnails to promote their YouTube channels.
Now, to be fair, this isn't really fair. I say to be fair, it's not fair. Sorry. So let's say guys like Brian on the Whatever podcast, Myron Gaines and Walter from Fresh and Fit. And there's probably others people. I think Access Vegas, I think Rollo Tomasi's on with was it Mike Sardane? Sultane? I don't know. Mark, whatever bro's name is, I apologize. Which they have a little bit more classy ladies too, by the way. They the ones on Access Vegas, they're a little bit more classy. Not really by a huge margin, but you know, even still, I'll give them credit. They don't have any disdain for these women as far as I understand it. Maybe the guys at Fresh and Fit do. I think there is a little bit of a disdain genuinely from them. I don't think Brian has any disdain for these women. I think Brian does kind of just think of them as set pieces, which might be a little objectifying, so to speak. But they're not the ones who are upset with these women. Not really. Again, now the Fresh and Fit guys like Myron, there's clearly some type of resentment going on there. You can clearly see it. But the other guys, again, they are objectifying these women, and I think Brittany might be analyzing that these women aren't being used by these guys as set pieces. Yeah, definitely. But at the same time, the members of the audience aren't the quote unquote high value males who are the forerunners of these podcasts. They're not the same people. That's kind of the thing. And so the issue that Brittany is having here is that she's not separating the podcast host from the audience member. And the audience members, even then, might all be different people with different opinions and different views in the manosphere. It's not the same thing, man. It's just not.
I went on the Whatever podcast. They chose to use a photo of me that was from like 7 years ago. They went out of their way to use the most provocative photo that they could find of me. Meanwhile, I have dozens of photos that are from professional photo shoots that they could have used. Also, my friend Anna, who's on the right, they chose an old photo of her as well. And then they decided to Photoshop her bikini pink, just so it would get more attention. That's what I mean when I say they go out of their way to find the most provocative photo possible of the girls they have on and then insult them for doing the same thing. So
yeah, but that's actually not what they did. You're conflating these two people. They didn't do that. The Whatever podcast had nothing to do with this whole Isabella DeLuca thing. Rollo Tomasi doesn't do that. So she conflated the Whatever podcast with Rollo Tomasi and the issues with the conservative thoughts that they get called sometimes, as if they're all the same people with the same opinions, and they're not. They're all different people. Brian, again, doesn't, if he like what's this you say? Brian is trying to garner more attention and sensationalize these issues so people come to his channel. Oh, you know, you can criticize that, but let's not pretend that we don't know that that's what the intention is. But Rollo Tomasi, you know, say what you will about Rollo, but he's not Brian from the Whatever podcast.
long as the manosphere can pose and point at the hot women that give them their notoriety, then selling the sexuality is fine. The manosphere...
Well, see, that's actually another problem. I know I keep pausing like every sentence, but the issue here is that rather unfortunately, if the dudes in the manosphere are using the women's attractiveness to validate themselves, then it still confirms what women are. It doesn't really refute it. And so you could say, and this would be a really good argument, that if you acknowledge and understand that a woman's sexuality shouldn't be a commodity for her to use, then that means it shouldn't be a commodity for you to use as well. And that might be what Brittany is trying to communicate here. She's not really doing a good job of that. But it could be that is what she is trying to communicate. That if you acknowledge that a woman's sexuality shouldn't be a commodity, then that means you can't pose with pretty women and say, hey, look how cool I am. That means you can't use them in a thumbnail and say, hey, come over here and watch our video. We got pretty girls. You can't do that. If women can't commodify themselves, why can you as a man commodify them? And that's an interesting, that's a great point. If Brittany were to say that, I would say great argument, great point. But not really sure she is. Or maybe she's trying to. Or maybe she will in the next 2 minutes. But that would be a good point. That being said, still isn't the issue the conservatives were having with Miss DeLuca. Still not the same thing. She's still conflating different arguments that should not be conflated. I'm going to read some of these chants. Doesn't say something about the community that these podcasts rise to the top as opposed to someone like you who does make intelligent content. Yeah, it says people want to be mad, man. They don't want to be better. People want to be mad. They want to be angry. They want to be upset. They want to see the thing is, the reason why this content is really appealing, Miss I say Miss, I don't even know why I said Miss. But Shoriro. Is that Shoriro? I'm gonna say Shoriro. Well, the reason why it's so important is because it's very cathartic. I think, and I understand it. I understand the business model very well. I'm just not really here just for catharsis. I'm here for improvement as well. And the catharsis of seeing an attractive woman get mistreated is very, very strong and very powerful. That's why Myron Gaines has the Punisher thing where he kicks them out. That's why Myron Gaines likes to say, well, you're on my podcast. That's why Brian also is fond of kicking women out. That's why he's fond of saying goofy things to somewhat embarrass them, right? That's why it's cathartic to the audience. It feels good to see a woman in distress after years of you being the one mistreated by them. That's what that is. And I do think that it's unfortunate that it's been, turned into a business model. But that's why it's very popular. There's a lot of frustration young men have with women that they can't really express, and these podcasts give them the opportunity to do so. Now, I think personally, you could probably do a little bit more than just make fun of these women for 7 hours, for 2 hours. You probably do a little bit more than that. You might do a little bit more. And I also think that the Whatever podcast and even, I know again, the guys at Fresh Fit don't care, but if you could really balance the equation, and instead of just bringing on just attractive women, again, just for the sensationalism and just to have them get made fun of, you can actually like bring in, what was I thinking about? Like, you can bring in a little bit more nuanced, balanced perspectives, or a little bit more women in the middle. You'll notice on the Whatever podcast, they usually will have like one conservative woman like in the corner, right? Like, and it's just the one, right? And of course, like, the framing is pretty obvious, right? It's to make her look special and make her look different, right? So she shines through. Well, how about you balance it out? Have 4 quote-unquote conservative, 4 quote-unquote moderate women, and then 4 liberal women, and then have them discuss it. And then that way it's more balanced instead of just the one lone ranger, the one lone girl, the one lone virgin, in the den of all the thoughts, right? Like, you could do that. But there's an obvious framing going on there. There's a point to it.
Is not telling women to be modest for their own sake. They're telling them that they don't like it when they can't control it. This is literally their logic. Good photo, fine. Not fine. Sluts. Surely it's just a coincidence that he finds the girls with the most skin showing and poses next to them. It's almost like he's aware that it gives him attention. It's almost like they think women give them value, pointing at them like, ooh, look what I got, guys.
Well, they do. That's an astute observation. Now, again, I didn't make the world this way, but yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm.
Watch my podcast. Buy my book. Men attention seeking, just fine. Men attention seeking with sluts, also fine.
Well, that's not fair to call this woman a slut. You don't know her.
Sluts attention.
It's almost, you can tell a woman's a slut based on her appearance. That's a little. It's not very feminist of you, Miss Venti. To be fair, I don't think Miss Venti is a feminist.
Seeking. No, bad. I absolutely do not have a problem with the position of being anti-porn, anti-sex work. I also think something needs to be done about how accessible porn is to minors, but it's really hypocritical to then.
Says, I don't mind you spending money to ask a question or interact. It's just too much. That was a $50 question at best. Yeah, like I said, it was a mistake. I didn't mean to. It wasn't. If I could go back in time and only spend the appropriate amount to get him to read my question, I would do that. It was a mistake. I'm sorry. I should say sorry to myself. It was my money.
Make your entire brand off of OnlyFans girls when you're busy insulting them as your entire brand. You can have them on your podcast.
So he goes, I think she's inserting herself into what she thinks is the perspective of these men. Yeah, she's doing a really bad job of understanding Rolo's position there. And she's again conflating these people all into the same position when it really can't be done that way. It's not really accurate. The manosphere, again, it's more a space than it is an ideology. The purpose of this space is how do we interact with women. And so Rollo Tomasi he is within his grounds, quote unquote, in this area to interact with women in that manner. I think, again, if Brittany just made the argument that if women's commodity should not be their sexuality, then Rollo should not be posing with them and using it in that manner. That should be her argument. I don't know why she hasn't made that argument, but it'd be very easy for her to do so.
And have discourse, but maybe don't blast the most provocative photos you can find of someone in the skimpiest outfits they've ever worn into your thumbnails on a
But this isn't Rollo Tomasi. Also, the Whatever podcast had nothing to do with Isabella DeLuca.
regular basis, because then it seems like you don't actually have a problem with the
So here it is. So most hot girls are useless because they've never had to be useful. Brittany replies, you would be nothing without hot women. Yes and no. Myron Gaines, he was successful in his own right. I think he was a Fed, not a Fed. I think he worked in security or something. I don't remember exactly what his background is, but I mean he would have been just fine in that area alone. As far as the success of Fresh and Fit as a podcast, is it contributed to him being mean to a bunch of pretty women? Absolutely. I think you'd be remiss or you would be pretending that a huge chunk of Fresh and Fit success doesn't come from the fact that he is kind of a jerk to mean women, and it's very cathartic. You would be bugging to pretend otherwise.
modesty aspect or modern.
But to say that it's like to say that's only because, now to be fair, now if you were to go on Fresh and Fit, let's see if it lets me. We were just to do a simple check. So we got 1.5 million, right? Subscribers. 1.55, right? Let's go to videos. And we go, Myron and Zerka kick off 2 delusional women. Almost 500,000 views 3 months ago, right? Watch this. How to become an FBI special agent at work? 53K. So, so let's be fair. They do have a core audience that will watch them, right? Right? That's fair. But where are most of the views coming? Why are people mostly there, right? Let's go to the lives. Girl asked AB if he paid child support, and this happened. 137K. Antonio Brown meets Fresh and Fit. 63K. A little less than half of that. Ungrateful ex-wife says being a mom is harder than being her ex, whatever the flip, than being an NFL player. Heated debate. 124K. How do you create more dating opportunities in 2024? 75K. So let's be fair, right? Let's be fair. Are a lot of their audience coming? Again, objectively, look at the thumbnails, look at the titles, look at the views. Are they coming to look at these women get blown out? Yes. Does that mean that he'll never get any, he doesn't get any views, or there's no practical? No, of course not. But it wouldn't be as popular without those attractive women. That is true. That is fair.
Modern women, it just seems like you're jealous or mad that you can't access them to use for your own brand.
But now that's not. But see, this is an issue, right? Because Brittany again is arguing against her point. they do have access to those women. Brittany, you just showed how they have access to those women. You keep showing us that they do. So, Brittany, you're not making your point here. This is the opposite of your position. They're not upset with these women at all. You would have to be criticizing the audience. You can't criticize the showrunners. They quite literally have access to the women in the thumbnails and in the pictures that you keep showing. Come on, my friend.
See immodesty a lot in the manosphere, and it's not just.
Hey, someone sent me a super chat. He said, Dr. Phi, I assume that's Dr. Phi, 20 Canadian, I think. Yeah, don't worry. I have also spent money to ask questions on these podcasts as well. I believe Myron was a Fed, Homeland Security. That does sound very familiar. Thank you very much for the 20 Canadian dollars, my man. Letting you guys know, listen, this is free entertainment. Okay? Never going to ask for super chats. I want you guys, if you're going to send me a super chat, I want it from the kindness of your own heart because you like the content. But this is free, man. You don't have to pay. Just enjoy, just learn, get better. That's all it is, man. That's all it is. But thank you. I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much. Sincerely.
With Grandma Tomasi here pointing at the skimpiest clothed woman he can find to promote himself. Them posting photos of themselves half naked all the time isn't exactly modest either. Neither is them posting about their.
Well, I'll give you this, right? That's not very modest. But they also don't adhere that men should be modest. They also don't technically even adhere that women should be modest either. A lot of these guys are very, how do you say? Utilitarian isn't the correct word, but they are mostly focused on what is, or so far as they're mostly focused on just things being or existing as they are, rather than how they should be. You know. So Myron Gaines being shirtless, he's not saying that men should be, modest, because in his mind, men should be attractive to get women's attention. He at no point has he even argued that, promiscuous women shouldn't even be promiscuous, to be honest with you. Neither has, I believe that was that Justin Waller?
The manosphere. And it's not just with Grandma Tomasi here pointing at the skimpiest clothed woman he can find to promote himself. Them posting photos of themselves half naked all the time isn't exactly modest.
I think that's Justin Waller. I think. Maybe that isn't. I don't know.
Either. Neither is them posting about their luxury.
Hey, yo, I got another super chat from DKK. Love you extra homo. Man, thank you, brother. I don't know what currency this is. Oh, it's from Bent. The currency is DKK. I don't know what currency that is, but I'll take it, man. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
Lifestyle and posting their expensive cars. That's not exactly modesty. And modesty.
Well, they see, this is the thing, right? The manosphere isn't extolling that you should be modest. Those higher, you would say, for lack of a better word, high value males, they are 110% for using their excess of wealth to get women to pay attention to them. These are not the same people. They're not the same. They're not the same people. So if you're like they're not acting with a lot of virtue. That's true and that's fair. But they weren't the ones making fun of Isabella.
It isn't just about the appearance. It's how you present yourself as a person. That's why I say it's not about modesty. It's about control. It's okay when they do it because they're hypocritical. And no other aspect of modesty matters, I guess.
Now, there's another argument here to be made. And you can argue that, again, there's no hypocrisy here because they're totally fine with women acting this way. How do I know they're totally fine with it? Because they invite these women to their podcasts and use them. They will even indulge sometimes by having sex with them. So to the red pill podcasters, specifically the high value males, the quote unquote alphas, they are fine with this behavior. They take advantage of it fully. Being an attractive male gets easy female attention. Having lots of money gets easy female attention. I shall use it then to them, again, I don't think utilitarianism is the correct word, but they're very utility focused. If it works, then I'm going to use it. It works. It functions well. Ergo, I shall do it. That's how they behave. Now, if you want to argue that that's wrong, by all means, but it's not hypocritical. They take full advantage of these women, which isn't right, but
no,
I could argue logically why it's wrong, but
they're red-pilled and they hate those thoughts. It's like, no, you just hate the ones you can't access. So,
but okay. You can't show me Access Vegas where he has access to these women and then say that they hate them for that.
back to the Cakegate thread. Isabella basically explains that Grandma Tomasi invited her on to be on his podcast. She says that he's a 53-year-old.
So here we go again, right? Here we go again with, she got 1.1 million views on this. Mercy. But here we go again with the expose. Now social reputation destruction is one of women's greatest weapons, one of their greatest tools, and it's an important tool. The problem is, I wish they used this tool against actually evil, terrible, bad people who should be exposed, and not people that they don't like on the internet. Which I have my criticisms of Mr. Tomasi myself, but what's even this? What's even this about? Let's read. Let's let Brittany take it away.
Father, and basically he shouldn't be acting that way when he has a young.
Okay, so she didn't read it. She skipped over. Okay, so let's go this. So Ms. DeLuca says, "Hello, at Rational Mail. Wow, that was bad. You reached out to me about a month ago to be on a podcast and promised me nothing but a respectful and productive conversation, which I will mostly vouch for. I've seen clips of Access Vegas, and they don't seem. I've never sat down and watched a whole clip, but I have seen Access Vegas. I've seen a couple of different of his podcasts, and he is nothing but respectful, and the conversations are usually productive. Now, again, to be fair, these women are a little bit more classy and a little bit more intelligent than what you would find at the whatever podcast and on Fresh and Fit, but they do still end up getting clowned on because they're a little unprepared, number one, and number two, they've never even considered most of the thoughts that the red pill guys are even putting in front of them, right? Which, to be fair, it may not even be these women aren't intelligent, but they've just never had to think about these concepts, and they're just kind of put on the spot. So that's me being charitable sometimes. So I honestly believe, say what you will about Rollo, and I have my criticisms of him as well, I don't think that at any point in time he would have had Isabella come on there and he would have at any point in time been rude or disrespectful to her. I don't think that would have happened at all. So she goes on, yesterday you reposted an almost 3-month-old video and have spent the last 24 hours doing nothing but bullying me for engagement so you can promote your book. I don't know if we can consider that bullying, but maybe there's some more tweets that I didn't see. Who knows? As a 53-year-old father who has a young daughter, I'm shocked that you would publicly sexualize and bully me and get involved in women's drama for the sake of selling a couple of books. Now again, this exists only to embarrass him, only to shame him. This is not an argument. This is just a subtle insult. That's all it is. She's saying you're too old, okay? You shouldn't be here. I don't know why this is just unbecoming of someone of your age and your behavior, and you're doing this simply for money. She then goes on to say, the irony of all of this is that amidst the attacks on me, you're promoting the book, The Rational Male. Under all of these tweets, isn't your book about, quote, real men, the qualities they display, and, quote, positive masculinity? The answer is no. The Rational Male is not about that. Not at all. The Rational Male, if I understand it, and I've never read The Rational Male, but I've seen people mention it from time to time, is mostly about how dating dynamics in the sexual marketplace works. It's more just a huge, how do you say, not conglomerate, but like a giant, I don't want to call it a Bible specifically, but it kind of is, because the way Rollo wrote it was he put together a bunch of different forum posts and articles and essays that he and other men have written. Well, not other men specifically, but that like information that he saw from all the forums, and he compiled it all together into this book. So The Rational Male, it's more about the the discussions and the information, and again, trying to date and interact with women. Now, I've never read The Rational Male because anything people say in The Rational Male, I already know. I just kind of learned just existing through life, which is why I never read it. But again, I've throughout the last 10 years, people have mentioned it. But I know it's not about this. So she's just wrong. She's just that's just not true. At least I'll put this addendum because I could be wrong. From what I've heard about the book, and whenever I see anyone ever mention the book, telling me things I already know, it is not at all about being a real man in positive masculinity. Not at all. Never heard anyone ever say that about The Rational Male. So she says, where in your book does it call for men to bully, harass, and get involved in women's drama? I don't even think it's fair to call this women's drama. I also don't know if it's fair to say that he was bullying or harassing her. At least not from what I've seen. Which maybe he was. But from what I've seen, it just looked like he made a tweet. And be cruel to a 23-year-old woman on the internet. Now again, the purpose of this is to infantilize herself relative to how old Tomasi is, to make him look like a big, bad, mean bully, to dismiss any criticisms that he may or may not have. You tell me my behavior isn't consistent with that of a conservative Christian, but yours is consistent of that. But yours is consistent of that of a Christian and an author. I don't know if Rollo is a Christian. I think Rollo said he's not an atheist, but I don't know if he's a Christian. I don't know what him being an author has to do with anything. Being an author means you wrote a book. It doesn't mean you're a good person. I think that this is a poor clapback. Hilariously poor. I don't know why she even felt the need to even reach out or even discuss or even talk about this, other than to make Rollo look pathetic. That is what all of this was about. I'm going to read some of these comments here. You guys were talking while I was talking. Speaking of Medicare, does anyone know how he's doing? I did see he did live stream a little while back ago. I don't know exactly what his current state is, but I did see he did make a live stream some time ago. Okay, Venti used to be an anti-social justice warrior, semi-alt-righter. Now she's gotten older, she's overcorrecting. Something like that, yeah. I can see that. Something like that. I think God is giving him more chances to get right before he dies. So yeah, I respect the laugh flip-flop more than Venti. You know, it's interesting, guys. There was a time where I tried to debate with Lav. I tried to find different people to host it, to put me in the same room with her. And I don't think I need to anymore. She has done quite the flip-flop. It does seem to be doing wonders for her. And I don't think I need to debate with Lav anymore. But you know who I do want to debate with? You guys guess who I should debate with. Guess who I want to debate with. Let's see if you guys get it. I got a $20 super chat from Dr. Dingus. My man. He says, why do these women justify and try to be equal the worst form of guy? So I assume it means to the worst form of guy. I never understood if a guy should do it, I should do it. Argument that these women give. Critical thinking is in short supply. Stay blessed. Bass. Thank you, my man. So I've said this a few times, my man. Great observation as well. A lot of feminists looked at the worst portrayal of being a man instead of the best. And they tried to live through that. I think what it is, if I can, just off the top of my head, it is definitely something worth thinking more about as to the why. Is I think what they did is they looked at the apex, they looked at the top. And unfortunately, a lot of people in the top don't get there because they were good people, unfortunately. So they look at the most attractive, most popular and successful male, and he's a promiscuous dude. And so women say, well, if that, it is because of this that he's successful. Of course, not really having the empathy and understanding that there's more to what got the man there than that, and that there's more important things than what makes a man a man. I don't know if you've seen my video on Yusuke Urameshi, right? I did a little bit of a character analysis on him, a little bit on Toguro, in their final confrontation, where we're asking the question, what is the measure of a man, and what does a man do with power? You know, and these are important questions that if you just look at dudes being successful, right? Like someone said Andrew Tate. No, Andrew Tate's not the person I want to debate with, though it would be interesting to do so. But if you look at Andrew Tate, the measure of being a man to him is indeed the Tagoro physical dominance. And it is indeed large amounts of wealth and money. But is that really what makes a family a family? Is that really what makes a man strong? Is that really what makes life good? It makes life easy, depending on how you got the money at least. But does it make life good? And the answer is no. The answer is no. It's your family. It's your friends. It's the people you love. It's the people you care about. That's what makes life worth living. It's your emotion. It's your spirit. You know, that's what Yusuke has found in his confrontation with Tagoro. And so if you haven't watched that video, I encourage you to watch it. I think it's great. It's not exactly the way I wanted it to be, but at the end of the day, I do still think it's a good video, good food for thought. My old nemesis Lacey Green, would I want to debate with her? Nah. Hassan, absolutely. I would love to debate Hassan. He wouldn't do it. But he would get ripped. 2 links. Yes. I wanted war with not so erudite. I would still like to. There's a couple of things Miss Erudite has said that live rent free in my head, actually. I would love to discuss it with her. I remember it was interesting because I went on Playing with Fire twice. The first time she wasn't available. The second time, it was really weird because me and her ended up teaming up to argue with this guy Brian. It was weird. I came to debate with her, and I ended up teaming up with her against what this guy Brian was saying. It was hilarious to me, but yes, I would like to indeed debate with Not So Erudite. However, the person I was referring to, the person I was thinking about, was actually Jasmine Jafar. I would love to argue and debate with Miss Jasmine Jafar as well. That would be hilarious and fantastic to dismantle any ideas that she has against the manosphere. That would be great. Derek Jackson, he wouldn't debate with me, but it would. It's interesting you say that. I do have a video. I have 2 videos on Derek Jackson I meant to upload that I didn't. They're kind of long, which is part of the reason. Some of the videos I make are really long, and I don't want a video that's over like 30 minutes long. That's about the longest. Like most videos average about 24 minutes. 30 minutes is pushing it, but 45 is really long. And so sometimes it's got to be done, but mostly if it's too long, I'm like, I don't know if people are gonna sit down and watch the whole thing. So, but yeah, there's a couple of videos on Derek Jackson that I do indeed need to put together. Yeah. So you need a shitload of studies for that? No. You don't understand. 2 links. Listen, here's the thing. I can grant every single study that she has. I can grant it. And I will grant it. And I'll use every single study she pulls up to destroy her own worldview. That's how confident I am in the truth. That's how confident I am. If I can get this debate going, well, you'll see. I'll grant everything. I'll use any statistics she has, any study she pulls up, and I'll use it to prove my point more than I could ever than she could use to prove hers. What about the alpha guy that was on the whatever podcast? You made a video about him, Justin Waller. Oh yeah, certainly. I don't know if he would, but certainly, absolutely. I think Justin Waller is a sex addict in denial. To be honest with you, I think he kind of represents a very insecure form of masculinity, or insecure form of being. I shouldn't use masculinity as a code of conduct because that's not technically what it is. It's kind of something that a lot of feminists have done. They've made the word masculinity mean code of conduct, when in reality it's actually just a bunch of traits that are primarily found in males. It's what the word masculinity means, but unfortunately, even I do it sometimes. We use masculinity to mean the way a man should be, but that's not accurate. That's not really what the word should mean. The word that should reflect that should be virtue, but Anyway, let's get back to Miss Venti.
Young daughter himself. Grandma Tomasi says, you know what my daughter is doing now? She's married and the communications director of pro-life women's clinic. You know what she's not doing? Pandering to conservators with her tits and a mixing bowl. Do better. Isabella claps back and says, your daughter was baptized in a two-piece bikini and you're going to call me a trad thought for wearing a shirt that fully covers me? What does that make your daughter then? Grandma Tomasi tells Isabella,
Wait, hold on. Not only is this remarkably childish, but not only is this, yeah, this is just childish, but is she got baptized in a bikini? You understand, like, unless you can argue that the reason why she was in the bikini was to titillate the church she was being baptized in, and not because she was at the beach, whereas you, wearing your clearly tight as hell shirt, wasn't to titillate people. I don't think it's a good argument.
you should be embarrassed. Clearly your father never had the balls to correct you. So Isabella claps back and says, these are outfits your daughter wears. You clearly didn't have the balls to correct her either. Yeah, his daughter's definitely showing a lot more skin than Isabella did. So what do you think that grandma does next? Him refuting the hypocrisy of his daughter posting in more revealing clothing online than her? No.
Well, I mean, I will say this is a pretty great example of a lack of accountability. I mean, both people could just be wrong. In fact, I mean, if Rolo wanted to do so, he could just say my daughter shouldn't have been dressed like that either. Now what? Now what? What's your counter argument? Your argument can't be, well, but her clothes were scanty too. Then that just means you were both wrong. You could just easily just say that. You were both incorrect. You shouldn't have been wearing that. Now what?
Instead, he will cry doxing. She has resorted to doxing my daughter in her wedding dress. Do you not see that she's a hack now? Which, by the way, for those of you who did not watch my prior video on Grandma Tomasi, he claimed that I also doxed his daughter, but she literally tried to be a public figure, and she was a pageant contestant, posted all over social media, and has a public Instagram, so he's just trying to pull his old shtick again.
Well, there's actually a really important point here. There's a really big problem. His daughter had nothing to do with this conversation. Isabella brought her daughter into this to scapegoat. She brought in Rolo's daughter to obfuscate from the fact that she was the one LARPing as a conservative Christian young lady who is modest. That's what she was doing. Now, here's the thing. Is this Photoshop? I think that's Photoshop. Because, geez Louise. Now, Miss DeLuca is not the most egregious. I don't think she is, right? But, well, here's one in a bikini. Here's a couple off Reddit. Oh, here's another one. So there's a couple we can find of Miss DeLuca in a bikini, right? I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't care, personally. Because the most important thing to me is about the intent, right? So her actually wearing a bikini is not really the problem. It's her intent is to sexually entice, right? Now, the thing that's interesting to me that I don't really know why they're acting like this or why they're doing the great pretending, but they're pretending that you cannot sexually entice with ideas, and the only way, and that it's only the revealing of the skin that's sexually enticing, and that's not true. You can sexually entice with intention and ideals as well. And the ideal that Miss DeLuca was using was the ideal of being a wife, cooking food for her husband, baking for her family. That's what the sexual enticement was, right? Her wearing just a bikini, it's pretty, I guess. I lost that picture, wherever it is. It's pretty. But do I think that she's trying to sexually entice there? She probably was. To be fair, like that would just be, being consistent with her character. She probably was there too. But Rolo's daughter wearing a bikini, right, when she's getting baptized. I guess she could have wore something, one piece, but it also wasn't her intent, I'm sure. And again, I could be wrong, was not to sexually entice there. So not only are you obfuscating by bringing up his daughter, that's not relevant, it also has nothing to do with the current conversation either. So those are some poor arguments, if I do say so myself.
So now Grandma Tomasi has her granny panties all in a bunch and says, "What's more inappropriate?" So she's responding to Isabella quoting Pearl. "What's more inappropriate? You selling your tits to Tradsbergs or getting Brittany to anonymously email an underage video of you to me after again doxing my daughter on the same day? You youngsters are the lowest forms of evil." I'm going to read the email. "The reason Isabella privated her socials. I saw that effing biatch try to dox your daughter. Immediately after you call out someone, they pull that shiz. Isabella the Jezebel used to sell slutting videos of herself to her fans for $50, but it was on the low. This is one she sent me." And then you see an attachment at the bottom. Grandma posts the email, and as a result, people start flooding Isabella, accusing her of selling exclusive content for a monthly fee on Patreon. And not only that, but also accusing her of selling underage videos for $50 on Patreon based on an email. Grandma Tomasi literally accusing Isabella of committing a crime based on an email that anybody could have sent. They really thought that Grandma Tomasi would do his due diligence in researching? Well, think again. I was the one who sent the email. So even though he had that little sneaking suspicion.
So I don't think Miss Venti here kind of realizes how insanely stupid that was. And I mean insanely stupid, because essentially what she just did was that she created a rumor in order to make fun of Rollo Tomasi. The problem is that if he posts that rumor and other people don't fact check it and they never come to see Brittany's admission here at the 13-minute mark of her hour-long presentation, then what are they going to believe, Brittany? Use your brain. Think real hard. Think about that. What are they gonna think? I mean, honestly, if I was Isabella, I would just be upset with the whole thing. Because you're the one who curated some nonsense in order to make fun of Rollo, when you could have just not had done that, and then this rumor would have never existed.
That it was me sending him another fake email for him to believe. He still chose to post it, and it resulted in people just blindly believing it because he doesn't do his research.
Brittany, that bruh, that's your fault. He said he didn't believe in, but then all the other people did. Brittany, that's your fault. You could have just not sent the email. You could have just not done the ops. You created that rumor for her. Oh, mercy.
And he's accusing
Goodness
me
gracious.
of sending him CP and having CP, which has never happened.
Okay. That didn't happen technically. but an accusation that you wrote in your email was that. That is what that email was. Mercy, bro. Mercy, dude. Almighty.
Video I attached to the fake email where I made up everything was actually from Isabella's TikTok, and it shows up on the first page of Google when you search her name. Grandma Tomasi does not do his due diligence.
Well, okay, so what is he supposed to look up? You understand, right? That if he types in Isabella DeLuca underage, right? That's not gonna look good on the search history. That's not gonna look. What is he supposed to research? Now, he didn't believe it. That's the thing. He posted it, but he didn't believe it. I think. Let me see if I can read what the tweet was. Go back here. You selling your tits to Tradsbergs, or you getting Brittany Venti to anonymously email underage video of you to me? Again, doxing my daughter on the same day. So yeah, so he called it out. He knew it was Brittany Venti. He knew it was another thing going on again. He called it out. Anyone taking and running with it, though, again, I'm going to put that one on Brittany. I don't know. This seems like this whole thing just seems so stupid. It seems like a whole thing that just didn't need to happen, if you ask me.
I attached to the fake email where I made up everything was actually from Isabella's TikTok, and it shows up on the first page of Google when you search her name. Grandma Tomasi does not do his due diligence, ever. This is not his first, nor second, but third time being trolled by fake emails and believing random internet
But he didn't believe it. He knew you sent it to him. He knew you sent it to him.
rumors and using them to try to harm the other person's reputation.
Well, ironically, Brittany, you gave him the ammunition. You gave it to him. You put the bullet in the chamber.
If he really thought it was fake, then he should not have posted it, or at least, do a single Google search on her name. You can see in
Yes, because the immediate search result is going to be her underage selling stuff to dudes. Yes.
the email here at the bottom, there is the attachment, and when you click on it, it's just a zoomed in video from Isabella's TikTok. What is he talking about underage video? I got the TikTok video from literally the front page right there, front page of her TikTok.
Literally doesn't matter. The context that you sent the email in was very clear.
It's so
Literally
funny that
doesn't matter where you got the video. It doesn't matter if it's fake. You were the one that wrote the email and put it in that context. Why would he even open it up? If that's the context, he shouldn't. It would make total sense just for his hands to be clean that there's no cache on his on his computer of him opening that video of an underage girl that was anonymously sent to him on email. Use your brain, Brittany. That would be possession of child pornography on his computer that he would have opened up. And you would have been, charged probably with distributing child pornography. That's what that whole thing would have been. Now, of course, it was fake, but you drenched it in the context of a crime. Use your brain. Put two and two together. Come on.
Grandma Tomasi is now paranoid about every email he gets, which he should be.
Yeah. Thank you.
You should be doing your due diligence. And he has shown that he does not care. He just likes to spread rumors and be a gossipy grandma. Grandma Tomasi will actually spread any fake news he finds if he doesn't like the person. He responds to this person that says if he has an issue with the way Isabella dresses, then he should have an issue with how his own daughter dresses. And then Grandma replies and says, the fact that you're reposting this right after asking for proof means you already knew about the email. Reported. He's literally reporting to the cyber police. And he did this before with accusing me of having CP and now sending CP and saying he's reporting me to the authorities, literally reporting me to the cyber police for trolling him. And it's crazy that he was insulting my appearance
You probably should.
and begging for my nudes in these emails, which I posted in that video. And yet he's calling Isabella a thought for baking in a t-shirt. And the gossipy grandma is so dramatic. He literally is saying I'm trying to unalive him because I trolled him. And he's reporting me to the cyber police. This is who we're dealing with. So grandma's acting really dramatic and getting really emotional. And then Pearl pops in and says, posting pictures of Rollo's daughter is way too far. There is no reason to dox someone's daughter. It's actually appalling. Yeah, that's rich coming from Pearl, who doxed Steven Crowder's nanny. And also refused to take down a video of an underage girl that she was interviewing and asking inappropriate questions to. Even after her older sister came on Twitter to
I have no earthly idea what she's talking about there. I can't speak on it.
complain and tell
I'm only mentioning that because I can't defend it, but I don't know. It sounds silly to me, but perhaps that is what happened.
Pearl to take it down. Some of you may remember Pearl's stylist who gave her horrible fashion advice that was in the first Pearl video that I made. That guy who put her in a garbage bag and told her she looked good. So now Pearl's personal stylist, who's supposed to be like this base red pill manosphere guy, is doing content with this porn star. And they have a whole scammy pyramid scheme looking website that says like, join now just for $397. Buy the scam now. Learn how to get women now.
Whereas once upon a time, it was perfectly possible for an unremarkable man of medium height and looks, not rich but in a decently paid job, to marry a beautiful young woman. increasing
Oh yeah, he knows his market. He's saying all the generic red pill manosphere stuff. Hey loser, you want to get laid? Yeah, sure, you're medium ugly, but we can get you bitches.
Imagine having a world-famous porn star and a world-famous dating coach in your corner as your coaches, wingmen.
Imagine having a world-famous porn star by your side, like me, who's only here because she needs promotion because her account is very small.
Tiffany worked in the adult entertainment industry for over a decade, amassing millions of views online, while Troy has been a dating coach for the same period of time, reaching thousands of men all over the world.
It's all about who's selling this sexuality. He can literally work with a porn star and sell her sexuality as a selling point, like, hey, this is good for you guys. But if it were just her doing it on her own, then it would be bad.
Well, that doesn't make any sense per the context of what we just watched here, actually. Again, I think, see, this is, I don't know why Brittany keeps doing this, but the manosphere has, I'm not going to say nothing to do with Miss DeLuca's blunder here, or Miss DeLuca presenting herself in such a sexual manner. I'm not going to say nothing to do with it, as that might be a little too heavy-handed, but they're not the same people that were upset. Like, even if Rollo Tomasi was the one, most other people, they just, it was the conservatives that were mad. And the conservatives were upset for a very clear and obvious reason. And that clear and obvious reason was, if you were, as a young lady, or putting your sexuality in the forefront of the message, then you are diluting the message. You're making it about you being pretty versus you doing what's right, or you being a good person. So, bringing up random porn star dude, I don't even, who even is, I don't know, who even is this guy? Who is this? I don't know who these motherfuckers are. And I don't care either. I'll be honest with you.
You know, unless she's accessible to them, which she is. The girl that he's
But she is. So
doing
So, man, this is bad.
content with tweeted Isabella, and Isabella posted the screenshot because she deleted the tweet. And it says, I told you she had simps. Isabella, my flight I offered to pay to sit on Grandma Tomasi's panel stands firm. We friendly here, but at least own your shit. And don't play tradcon pretend. Sunglasses emoji. Smug. And then for proof of this, she posts the video from my fake email. So I guess Rollo must have sent her this personally, because he didn't really post the video. He just gave this to her assuming it was real, even though he suspected it was me, and she fell for it. And then
Yeah, but again, these aren't conservative people. I don't even, to be honest with you, I guess you could say that there's an issue with them involving themselves with Miss DeLuca and trying to, like, talk or discuss these ideas with her. But I think if there's anyone that should have, they probably the Crucible. You know, Rachel Wilson should have reached out to her. Hey, yo, what's this? $20. $20 from, how do I pronounce this? I'm going to say Axie or AC. AC042. Man, I'm horrible with names. Here's a super chat from Kindness of My Heart. I've been watching you for years now. One of the few people that agrees within the manosphere. Man, I appreciate that, brother. Thank you. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it very much. Like I said, man, it's free entertainment.
then she deleted
thank
the
you.
tweet.
Appreciate
So
you.
clearly he thought it was real enough to spread it as fake news and for her to believe it as truth, and then spout libel and accusing Isabella of selling her nudes for $50. I do feel bad for Isabella DeLuca for the idiots that actually believed Grandma Tomasi based on a fake email. Like, he has a whole history of believing.
But, you know, but hold on. Brittany, you should feel bad because you made this up. You did this to her. Not Rollo. You can't blame Rollo because he exposed a trolley email that you posted and then other people ran with it. You did that. If you could have just literally had not done that from Jump Street. You could have literally had just not made that up at all in order to troll him, to make him look bad. Because ultimately what that does is it makes everyone look bad. When you fling poo, it gets everywhere.
Fake emails.
Come on.
Grandma Tomasi didn't post the video on purpose. He wanted to not only have Tiff do his dirty work, I think, but also by not posting it, he could lie and say it was CP when it wasn't. It was just a TikTok that I zoomed in. And
Yeah, but why would he open it?
by the way, that's called lying by omission. He's purposely omitting the information to make it seem worse than what it was.
Yeah, but Brittany, you just directly lied. You just... But you just lied.
Like, just straight up lying, because there was no nudes in that email, in any of the emails I've ever sent him. But
So you okay?
wait, there's more. You guys have me sounding like an infomercial. But wait, there's more. So Rachel Wilson was one of the first people to chime in on Cakegate and insult.
Now check this out. If you guys have never heard of Rachel Wilson, that's a lady that can dismantle feminism. I gotta tell you, Rachel Wilson, that is a lady right there. Extremely intelligent woman.
Isabella, calling her a 304, which is slang for hoe. So Isabella claps back to Rachel Wilson calling her a 304 and says, if I'm a 304, then you having 5 children from 2 different men makes you a what? What?
Well, wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. That's not fair.
Is it even true? It was 3 different men. And she's trying to play it down as if she didn't
Well, hold on. Hold on.
just insult Isabella. Isabella is still mad because I told her to put on an apron and stop lying. LOL. So Pearl, in
Which, to be fair, she could have just done that.
response to that, comes to bat for Rachel and says, Rachel is a stay-at-home mom and homeschool all 5 of her kids. She actually walked the talk. Hi, Pearl. Still haven't gotten a hold of your fashion? I don't know. Maybe she should try.
So this is what I don't understand. I don't get, well, I do understand it. I just think it's lowbrow. Making fun of Pearl because she's ugly. Which is something that I've noticed a lot of women when they want to criticize Pearl.
Wearing t-shirts.
They really love to do this. And I've seen a few of these Pearl takedown videos. It's like, look, listen, there's a criticism for Pearl you can make. It's a criticism I make all the time. And that is, Pearl is a blunt object. She can bash you over the head with an obvious, or sometimes not obvious, truth. And she'll bulldoze a conversation. And I've seen it many, many times where she's just like, that's not true. This is what's true. This is what happens with young men. This is what goes on. The problem with Pearl is that Pearl has a surface level understanding, but she doesn't have the nuance. She doesn't have the precision. She doesn't have, I would say, the intelligence, unfortunately, to really wrestle and argue with these concepts in a robust way that will convince people. Pearl can give validation to people that already believe her. She's very bad at convincing people who don't. And that is a big problem with Pearl. It's good as a signal boost, which is what she's done, but that has opened the door up for a lot of people to then just make fun of her because she lacks the ability to really argue and debate her points in a reasonable way. And as such, we get people like Brittany Venti who will just make fun of of Pearl for just being ugly. Look, you ugly though. And it's like, okay, well, what does it have to do with anything? Being ugly is not a sin, bro. It's not morally wrong to be ugly. And also, I don't even think Pearl's really that bad looking. Pearl's perfectly serviceable. I mean, perfectly fine.
Her a little better. Isabella claps back at Pearl and says, she is also the epitome of what you complain about all over your platform. Old, overweight, and divorced women. Is that not your niche?
That would not be her niche. See, this is just so... See, Isabella, this is why people call you a faker. You also are a piss poor arguer as well. This is quite interesting. Now one thing that I think is really, really funny is just kind of how lost in the sauce we are, right? And this is why, if you guys have been in the live stream from the beginning, when I said with what's his name, Mr. Aubrey, the reason why you don't add any of that fluff is so people can't obfuscate. People can't go into the weeds. This is a great example of going into the weeds. She's also the epitome of what you complain about all over your platform. Old, overweight, and divorced women. Now here's the thing. Being old is fine. It's old within context. It's being old and single. Rachel Wilson isn't single. She's married. She's been married for like 17 years or so. Overweight. Yeah, it happens after you've had a couple of kids. Here's the thing. Rachel Wilson also isn't overweight. She was. Not anymore. Okay, well. And divorced. Again, Rachel Wilson has been married for 17 years. And then we topple it off with, is that not your niche? Wrong, Isabella. Pearl's niche would be men who dislike old, overweight, and divorced women, not those women themselves. Now, that might be a little bit of a nitpick, but you have to understand the point here, right? Again, this is all obfuscation. This is all just fluff around, all a bunch of nonsense. The long and short is very fucking simple. Miss DeLuca, right? What was your intent with your titty video? Your intent was to bombard us with a beautiful woman and a fantasy of you baking us cakes so you can get more people to follow you and listen to you repeat the same conservative talking points you heard from someone else. That's what that was. That's what that is. And now we're obfuscating by making fun of Miss Rachel Wilson, who is married, who's had multiple kids, who's currently still married right now.
So Pearl goes and says true, and Rachel will tell you she messed up, which, by the way, this is Rachel Wilson. But after that, she turned her life around and raised 5 kids that she homeschooled. She would never advocate for the decisions that got her in that situation.
Well, see, and that's kind of the thing, though, right? I mean, if Rachel... See, these are some of the best people to follow, right? Individuals who have already... who have made mistakes and have learned from them. People that have... gone into these different issues, people who have gone and had these problems and recovered because they have the wisdom of both sides. They have the wisdom that brought them there and the wisdom of what brought them out. And you can learn from Rachel to avoid the pitfalls that she had, you know? I think a lot of people have made this phrase, or a lot of people say, why would I follow someone that's failed? Or like, why would I listen to something that's failed? You know what I mean? And it's like, because they failed. They know what not to do. You can, and first of all, here's the thing. Let's just take a step back, right? A wise man learns from his mistakes. A wiser man learns from the mistakes of others. So you can learn from other people's misgivings and other people's failures to do even better in life. That's what makes humans great. A lot of people don't ever stop to think about this, but one thing that makes humans so different from most other animals is a long time of investment that we have in our children. And because we are such gigantic learning machines and computers, we can learn and adapt and gain the wisdom from those who came before us to become even better. In fact, a huge chunk of technology is just that. Someone else made the innovation. Other people took that and then they just kept refining it to get better and better and better. And it's just, this is how humans are. So let's say Rachel Wilson was a thoughty bobati. I don't know. Let's just say she was. And she doesn't know the father of her first kid, right? She married another dude, right? Had 2 more kids, right? Then they get a divorce, and then she marries Andrew Wilson, who was her husband. And then they have 2 more kids. And it's like, okay. It's like, okay. It's like, okay. So she goofed, and Andrew had the wherewithal to say, you know what? She's still a good woman. I'll marry her. I'll be with her, I'll talk to her, and I'll have a family with her. And there it is. If anything, Rachel Wilson is the benchmark of what you want. You should want someone that has the wisdom to say I messed up and follow her and see her intelligence and then say, let me not do what she did there and let me do the good things that she did. But unfortunately, that would require intelligence. That would require you to think critically. And it's really interesting to me that people get really kind of stuck on these tidbits, and not even just to talk about just the nature of Christianity itself is, again, forgiveness and redemption and trying to improve and be better. Not even just that, but it's like just in your own life, the very first time you did anything, you were bad at it. When you rode a bike, you fell, and so what did you do? You kept falling until you learned how to balance yourself. When you work out and you exercise, your form, doing a bench press might be bad and someone corrects it. When you're playing a sport and your coach says, hey, don't kick the ball that way, do it this way. You fail, but you try and you keep getting it and you keep getting better. Now, I don't think relationships should be as such, right? You should have to fail that many times, right? Specifically. But you learn, hopefully, and you get better, hopefully. So I don't really see why this is the criticism we give to Miss Rachel. I don't think that Miss Rachel is the one that should be getting this criticism, basically.
So basically, Pearl is defending this Rachel Wilson woman that has a problem with Isabella baking with a t-shirt on. Even though...
Don't stop. See, if Brittany thinks if she says it enough times, we're going to believe it.
Oh, she literally said, "It's so funny how you all simp so hard for fat wives. No, having a kid isn't an excuse to be fat. You're supposed to be in shape for your husband."
Well, my question is, like, what's even wrong with that?
What's this then?
Well, I'm gonna be real honest with you. We don't really have the best view of her body, but she doesn't really look that fat. I'll be honest with you. Maybe she might be fat from white people standards. Maybe that's what that is. Maybe to white people, she'll be like, "Oh, that's fat," but to niggas, she's alright, bro.
Is she
she I don't know.
really gonna act?
But I also don't. I can't. There's also not enough from this picture to really find a silhouette of her being overweight. You can't really see her gut. You can't see her boobs being, inflated or anything like that. Her face, I mean, she just I don't know. She doesn't look
Like,
overweight here. Well, she might be, but it doesn't look that bad.
Didn't just
from this
say that
picture,
and smile next to her. People can disagree and be
right? Like, she might be frumpy, but I mean, she's also like a woman that had 5 kids. I don't expect women that have had 5 kids to be super banging. They're fine, dude. Like, she's fine. I don't.
friends, but this is a direct.
Even if she was fat, you know what I mean? She just lose. Well, actually, she's not currently. I think Andrew did like a whole. I wouldn't say a whole stream on it, but he did. You bring her up in a stream he did.
Conflict of interest, like literally just sitting there smiling next to her. And this is why I say that these people don't actually believe what they say, because why would you be standing next to her smiling and defending her and signal boosting her?
Well, because Rachel Wilson went on to lose weight. That's why. She was fat then, she's not fat now, right? There you go, right? Like, this great pretending that people can't change is crazy to
Like,
me.
that's what your friend thinks about you. She thinks that your husband should divorce you, which one of them did. So to simplify it, she was divorced once, but has 5 kids from 3 different men. To briefly explain who Rachel Wilson is, she is part of this Trad Thought Coalition, which are very involved with Cakegate. It's this group of women that virtue signal about being trad online and usually aren't that trad themselves. I don't have a problem with women being
I just coined the phrase e-mom to differentiate myself from e-girls. I'm not looking for male attention, and there's no reason to grift. I already have a man who supports me and my family, so my motivation for being online is purely to restore traditional Christian cultural values. Fair. I mean, she said I'm out. I'm out this bitch. She said I cashed out. I have a husband. And look, to be fair, I say to be fair. I don't know why I always say to be fair. You can't find any examples of Rachel Wilson's thoughterry, but if I Google search Isabella DeLuca, look at this. How tight this dress is. Look at this, bro. Hold on. Look at this. Day 33 posting a picture because women and leftists keep hating on me. So she's literally I'm just going to post pictures of me being pretty. I can't find a picture of Rachel Wilson just being pretty, right? You know what I'm saying? She actually goes on, she wrote a book, I think the occult origins of feminism, I think it's called. She goes on different podcasts, argues in debates. Rachel Wilson's she's not Isabella. She's just not. It's not fair.
provided
it's not a fair
for and being
comparison.
stay-at-home moms. But this is a version of it where it's a perversion of what traditional means. So they're basically doing performative trad.
Dovesky, she was divorced once? I guess so. But that would have been well over 17 years ago. She's been married to Andrew Wilson for 17 or so years. So, I mean, I don't know, man. It is what it is. It is what it is. So I always thought of Andrew as the type of guy that would only marry a virgin. Why did you think that? Not saying you're wrong. I'm just kind of curious. I don't think most men will ever have the opportunity in this day and age to marry a virgin. I say most. I'm not saying none, but I think most. I think most of us are just gonna have to deal with the fact that a young woman is gonna have been bent over by someone else. I am curious. Chat. Let's have a little brief discussion on that, because I'm kind of curious. See what you guys say about that. The idea of not marrying a virgin, because my stance is that it is what it is, man. You just got to eat that. The real question is, does she have character and virtue now? You know what I'm saying? She's trying to be a good mother now. I think that a lot of ladies, unfortunately, they don't really have their virginity kind of in tow. And I don't think virginity really even should be like a bargaining chip that women use. It shouldn't be a bargaining chip. It should be this: the state is. The state is, I haven't been married yet, and to a man who is good to me and wants the best for me. That should be the benchmark of why a woman should want to marry a man. It should be because his intentions are to have a good family with her, and protect her and their children. It should be character and virtue. But I don't think very many ladies think like that in this day and age. I don't think very many of them are going to hold off from the pleasures of sex for virtue. So virginity is not virtue, and that's true. Chastity is the virtue. Chastity of withholding and withstanding from sex is the virtue. And the reason why it's a virtue, particularly for young women, it is for men as well, but particularly young women, is because it's very easy for them to have sex. It's very easy. And so the real challenge of them is maintaining and withholding and being wise in who they allow to be fathers of the next generation, really, you know. And so I guess in my mind is I think it is an important conversation, right? Because again, virginity is the state is a lack thereof, you know. But a woman can be a virgin not because she was chaste, but because no one liked her. And so she never had sex, not because she was a good person or she thought critically about it, but just because she was weird. She's just a weird, goofy kid or a weird, goofy teenager or a weird, goofy adult. And she's a social recluse. So she's a virgin, right? But not because she was wise about it. You know what I mean? Excuse me. Yeah, so virginity is not a virtue unless one has the ability to indulge and abstains. Promiscuity is always a vice. Indeed. It's like a trophy. Everyone wants to be first place. The further back you are, the crappier it is. It definitely feels that way. I'll give you that one. Being dissolute. I will say this, yeah. You just got to eat that. What I'm saying is, saying you just got to eat that is just a funny way of saying you have to accept the reality of the situation. You could try to withhold and not have sex with anyone and wait to find another virgin. But the older you get, the harder it becomes if you want to match someone your age. So that means the older you get, you have to maintain the type of women you're going to date, and they'd have to be younger women. And even then, younger women in a generation that's more pornified now, like, are the chances going to be higher or lower that she's a virgin? You got to really think about that one too. When you really put all the details together, it's like we're looking at Gen Z, Gen Alpha, who again are baked in a culture that is extremely pornified and extremely sexually verbose, and as you get older, you're gonna wait for them to turn 18, 19, 20, and they were the ones who maintained their virginity. Okay. It's like, okay, well, all right, okay. So it's like so realistic. I think what you want, I think it's fine to say you have the preference, but you also have to have the acceptance that what's more important than her being a virgin is her understanding that motherhood is important, family is important, children are important, being kind is important. Again, it's all about character. You gotta focus on the character. If you find a woman and let's say she's had sex with like, let's be gracious, like 5 guys, right? And she gets to you, you're number 6. But she wants to make it special, then that's her character, right? She wants to make it good for you. She wants to make it nice for you. So you're going to say, well, you had sex with 5 guys, can't do it. Are you going to say that? Or are you realistically going to analyze the situation, think critically, and say, well, she's trying. She's trying to make it special. She's trying to repent. She's trying to be better. And so because of that, I will reward her virtue of trying to be better. You could do that. It's absolutely nothing stopping you from doing that. And I think that I think a lot of people really harp on the virginity aspect without really understanding the character that comes with it. Because again, you can meet a woman who's a virgin, and she's just a virgin because she's weird. She's just weird. Not because she's a good person. We got $10 from ACZ. I can't pronounce your name, brother. I'm going to say ACZ. I don't know. 04. Why does Britney take responsibility of so much drama from her idiotic chaos? Why doesn't she? I'm sorry. Take it. She causes more harm for her causes than good. Yeah, that was so stupid. That was so dumb. It would have been so much better if Britney just didn't send that email and just avoided all of this nonsense from Jump Street. But all right, guys. I'm going to go on for a little bit longer. I've been here for about 2 hours. Look, man, I'm be surprised, man. We peaked at about 120. I think it was like 127 viewers. We got 100 right now. I'll be honest with you, man. Didn't expect to get 100 people to come watch this. I thought we'd get like maybe 60, maybe 64. Gotta say thank you. Thank you to you guys for popping in, checking this live stream out, man. Like I said, this is a test. I'm going to try to do a little bit more in the future. But right now, I'm just kind of testing it out, seeing how you guys respond, seeing the audience. And I appreciate you guys for being here for a little bit, Be here on this random Monday afternoon. So let's go. We're going to go a little bit longer, and then we're going to wrap it up.
Virtue signaling. Like, look how trad I am, and all these other girls are sluts. But as you can see through Cakegate, it's actually not about those hoes. It's actually about whichever woman they feel like attacking at said time. Like, you have to be this trad to join this group. So usually this trad thought coalition that LARPs like they're trad, even though they usually have some sort of degenerate.
Benny asked, do you watch Destiny? No, not recently. There's a time where I would pop in, and then he started taking on the Manosphere and the Red Pill, and then I remembered why I didn't like this nigga. No, but the thing about Destiny, which I think is pretty interesting, is was he used to have some takes that were really annoying to me. I remember being extremely annoyed by him, and so I stopped watching him. And then later on, a couple of years later, he started having some really base takes. Some takes I was like, oh, okay, I guess he's grown up. Guess he's figuring stuff out. And then he decided he wanted to argue with the Manosphere and the Red Pill. He started coming up with some wacky, wild nonsense, and I'm like, Destiny, can you not, bro? Can you not with your can you? There's a couple of videos I think I've made, where I mentioned Destiny. But yeah, I wanted to debate with him a little bit more often too. There's this one video. There's this one live stream where it wasn't a direct debate, but I was on the same panel with Destiny. And we kind of went back and forth a little bit, but nothing dedicated. Maybe one day, try to have a dedicated debate with him.
It pass. They will insult any woman not part of their clique to bring themselves up, and they're often hypocritical in not upholding their own standards. For example, during Cakegate, Megha, I don't know if that's how you pronounce her name, but she says to Isabella, the cake girl, 45% of the video frame is boobs. And as Cake Girl points out, Megha is complaining about Cake Girl's boobs, but then in her profile picture, she's wearing a top with the same exact fit. It's just that her...
Man, Isabella just has the refusal, bro. The refusal, bro, to accept that she's trying to be sexually enticing. It's crazy. It's crazy, this warpath that she's on. And the obfuscation is insane.
Boobs are...
So here's a profile picture of someone with with some side titties, with some big side titties, right?
Smaller.
Can we stop with the great pretending, bro? That's the same thing as the titty baking the cake picture.
I thought Coalition does this bit where it's the haha women suck, am I right bit, and they love to do it, and it's their only joke. It's never funny, it's never witty, it's always the same joke over and over. Oh haha, women are better.
You said when he was debating with the Manosphere, what did you disagree with? I think one thing that bothers me is when it comes with debating the manosphere, a lot of people don't recognize that the ultimate conversation that people are having is a moral conversation, not a practical one. Meaning, to put it bluntly, that you can't argue against hypergamy. You can't argue against women finding looks to be one of the most important things. You can't argue against that because it's objectively true. And a lot of people pretend that it's not. You got to spend a lot of time proving that to be the case. So with Destiny, one thing that he would like to do is he'd like to pretend that it is not the case that being a physically attractive person is one of the most important aspects. And he would pretend that social status is not the most important aspect. He would argue that it's your personality. And he wouldn't say game, but it would be like it's more your personality and understanding the woman that's going to win the day. It's just not true. It's just not true, unfortunately. It's not true in 2024. Wasn't true in 2023. It's not true, unfortunately. Now, we can make it true. As human beings, we can learn, adapt, and change and become better. But it's not true. And so there's different points like that he would make. A couple of points he made. Again, there's some videos I've made where I disagree with them. I'll upload them one of these days.
Better at complaining, and then Pearl's laughing it up. When I say that they only have one bit of teehee, women so stupid, this is what I'm talking about.
I said that there's a lot of women on this panel, so
I
we
got
need
you.
smaller
Yeah,
words.
let me
We're
break this
simple-minded
down.
creatures.
Oh, we got a pearl on our hands over here.
Self-deprecation can be funny, but the whole women are so stupid, am I right, guys?
Now, to be fair, I'm not really fond of Miss Isabella Riley Moody either. She kind of annoys me too. Well, get on her. Would like to see you on the Honey Badger Radio live streams. They still stream? I think I was on their show before, if I remember. No, I did a ragening with them once. That was pretty awesome. But I don't. I think I did. No, maybe I didn't. Maybe I didn't. They still stream. I'm gonna look them up. But anyway, that was $5 from Boda. $5 super chats. Thank you, brother.
That bit
Well, to be honest, they are.
is so tired. Basically, the shortest way I can explain the Tribe Thought Coalition is, haha, I'm not like those other girls. She's not like those other manipulative 304s who just pretend to be traditional Christian and conservative, unlike her. I just coined the phrase e-mom to differentiate myself from e-girls. I'm not looking for male attention, and there's no reason to grift. I already have a man who supports me and my family, so motivation for being online is purely to restore traditional Christian conservative values. And funny enough, Rachel Wilson is known to be a reply girl to Ethan Ralph.
Last time on Dragon Ball Z.
You're a fucking whore. You're a no good scumbag fucking whore. Do you understand me, Brittany fucking Vinty?
So this is him and his then fiance, and she says, Sad and Trad always looks amazing, but Ralph looks particularly dapper here. It's just weird to me to comment under someone's man's photo and being like, you look particularly dapper. Meanwhile, you're married. She replied, girled him.
I'll be honest with you. Saying someone looks dapper's got to be one of the most tame compliments I've heard in years. I don't even understand what the discrepancy here is.
Lot. Ethan starting a
Other
horror
than the fact that Ethan Ralph doesn't look dapper. It's just
of Ralpha babies. Even on the photo where he got his ass beat and there was like footage of him getting his ass beat, she comments under it, you're such a good sport. That's why we love you. He replied under his tweet saying, you're a master at turning shit into gold. Like she is kissing his ass. Sucking the turds out of it. Ethan, I like your writing. I read a
this is probably why I should invest in a camera. You guys didn't see my facial expression when Brittany said that.
couple of his older posts, and I was like, dang, he's a really smart guy.
Yeah, two links. That is essentially what she's trying to do. Yes, she's trying to imply that Rachel Wilson is the true trad thought, not Miss DeLuca. And she's using the fact that Rachel has commented on many of Ralph's tweets. Which, I mean, I'm being really honest with you. This seems more like encouraging than anything thirsty. I don't see. This doesn't even seem like she's simping. She's just like a fan. It's not. It doesn't seem anything unlike what some of you guys here will say on my videos. Says Bass, I'm not seeing you, but I bet you look dapper though. No, probably not. Not at the moment. No, my hair's not combed. But but I mean, it seems pretty but yeah, but like it's not, this doesn't seem anything unlike what you guys would say. This doesn't seem very thirsty at all. If the intention is to say that Rachel's being thirsty, nah, it looks more consistent.
You know, she.
Yeah, dang, he's a really smart guy. That's not being thirsty. Like thirsty would be like, oh, wow, Isabella, I wish I could find a wife like you. That's what Isabella wanted. Wow, Isabella, there are no other women like you. Isabella, you know how to serve a man. That would be that would be thirsty comments right there. But Rachel's like, wow, Ralph, you're smart. Which again, I disagree with her. I don't know why she likes Ralph that much. I've never really been fond of Ethan Ralph, but that's not really being thoughty. That's not thoughty. I don't know. You could argue maybe the harem of Ralpha babies was a little, maybe you could stretch that one, and even then you'd have to be really stretching, because again, Ethan Ralph is quite the degenerate. I'm not fond of him at all. Not fond of Mr. Ralph at all.
She's over here being a reply girl for Ethan Ralph, but she's just here to convince women to get married and stay married.
No, oh, hold on. You're here to lose the culture war. Let's be honest. Is your white t-shirt ironed? I'm wearing a black t-shirt actually. Yeah, I retired the white t-shirts actually. Yeah, I retired them. People kept complaining about them and said I needed to look better.
Married. I'm gonna get back to the cake gate in a second and what she said about it, but I just find it funny that she is simping Ethan Ralph. She is sucking the pebbles out of his pipe hole. She's simping this guy
she really
right
isn't.
here.
I mean, she's consistent, but again, I don't know why she likes. I'll give you this. I don't know why she likes Ethan Ralph that much. I don't find much respectable about him, but yeah, it's not really being thirsty. This is thirsty. This is thirsty. I don't know why we're pretending that this isn't thirsty, but any of those comments that Rachel did was insane. Insane. This isn't thirsty. This isn't thirsty. This isn't thirsty. Not thirsty. She's not being thirsty for male attention at all. This, not at all. Not even a little bit. I don't know what you're talking about. But Rachel complimenting Ethan Ralph, that's the trad thought thirstiness. Okay, well, and that's what we're doing. And that's what we're doing.
That's not his nutsack, by the way. That's just the bottom of his stomach. And yet Rachel says, why are so many nurses and medical assistants morbidly obese? I can't imagine being at the peak of my fertility and not being able to touch the side if my thighs.
Hold on, we got a super chat from ACZ. This is my opinion. I believe Brittany Venti and this out of the blue to mention this person. Melanie Mack would be considered lol cows if they weren't pretty women. Well, that's really interesting, right, my man? Because originally, Brittany Venti was a lol cow. She was. Now, to be fair, she was trolling the internet. When Brittany Venti first came around, she played a really stupid, dumb bimbo extremely well. Now, Brittany's making some really bad arguments here. And I mean, these are some terrible arguments. But this is a far cry from when she started. When she started, she was just saying a bunch of stupid, dumb nonsense on the internet. And she would just go on different panels and she would cry on the internet. And she was just a big troll. And it was all an act. Like, it was all an act. This here, this is what I assume is Brittany being legitimate, right? Like, this is her just talking and articulating her thoughts. They're just bad arguments. But she's not I don't think this version of Brittany would be a lol cow. Even if she was ugly. I think people just wouldn't pay attention to her. I think people just really wouldn't care.
It's horrific. Meanwhile, who she simps. This is her, okay? And this is what her bio says. Rachel is a wife and Orthodox Christian mother of 5 children. When she's not attending to her duties to her family and church, she enjoys fitness. And remember who else says that women deserve to be tossed to the side for gaining weight? The woman defending Rachel's honor, Pearl, who is also overweight. This is what I mean when I say the Trad Thought Coalition cannot uphold their own standards. Pearl obviously also had an issue with Cake Girl's modesty. So yeah, Pick Me Pearl is friends with Rachel Wilson, who is apparently into fitness, you know, a few times out of the year. But hey, 2 women who are desperate for male attention, I can see why they get along. So this is one of the main tweets that started Cakegate, where Rachel Wilson quote tweets the Cake Girl Isabella and says, "Holy cow, lady, get yourself an apron."
You want to know something I'm not fond of? This is it's total non sequitur. I don't like adding gate at the end. Obviously, the initial purpose, I say the initial purpose, the etymology of X gate was the whole Watergate scandal with was it Richard Nixon, was it? The whole Watergate thing? I think it was Richard Nixon. I could be totally wrong there. I'm probably wrong. I'm fucking live on stream. But that whole Watergate thing was fair, right? That was the first. And then we came up with Gamergate, which was obviously an offshoot of that, right? And now we just do this whole, we just add gate at the end of everything. Cake gate. Gate. It's like, can we just come up with a different word for all this stuff? I don't know. That's just me being pedantic.
It will.
Yeah, Pearl is just tall and athletically built. I mean, Pearl, look, man, Pearl is serviceable, dude. I don't know. People love to make fun of Pearl because she's just not a strikingly beautiful young lady. She's perfectly fine. So it was Richard Nixon. Okay, I'm glad. I'm glad I wasn't wrong. But man. Wait, I did say Nixon, right? Did I say Nixon? Now I'm confused. Now I confuse myself. But yeah, talking about Pearl is perfectly serviceable. And again, Rachel Wilson, she's lost weight. She does exercise. Again, her husband Andrew showed a couple of posts of her, so it's just not true.
Preserve the spectacle of those giant tatas for your husband, as well as protecting your poor shirt from getting batter splatter. And this person says, that t-shirt look normal on other women. Should big-breasted women cover themselves up more? And then Rachel says, as a busty lady, I can say yes. For her to say that she's the same thing as Cake Girl is actually insane. This is not the same as this. You can't be over here saying, as a busty lady. Like, these are 2 completely different body types. They make clothing in the plus size section for you. She says, it's a sad fact of life.
Well, wait a minute, hold on. Why can't Isabella just wear those plus size clothes? Wait a minute, hold on. There's no rule that says Isabella can't just wear a shirt that's bigger. There's no law against that at all. One thing I wanted to do is we'll probably end, let me see. We'll probably end about at the 30-minute mark. Yeah. We'll probably watch it till about like 30 minutes, and then I'll close the live stream out, and then you guys can have the rest of your day. Because I didn't want to be here forever. We'd be here for 2 hours and 30 minutes as it is. 99 viewers though, man. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. I didn't think I'd get 99 viewers, man. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you.
Life that when you are generously endowed up top, girl, don't kid yourself. You can't just wear the same outfits.
Yo, so what's with this night, bruh? See, see, this is what I don't understand. Here's the thing. What's interesting to me is I'm not sure I really fully even understand Britney's direct, umbrage with this. Because it seems to me that what Britney's really upset about, I'm going to be honest with you, is the trauma of having big titties and people making her big titties her whole life. And then she sees another woman with big titties, and Britney, she felt it. She felt it in her bones. She had a flashback. The trauma hit her. And she said, I have to ride out I have to defend the honor of other big titty ladies. This is the big titty brigade. But to be serious, it seems to me that Britney is more taking umbrage with the concept of modesty. Well, she did say as much. I'm not actually, it's not really a super analysis. She did say as much when she, at the beginning of the video, posted the tape modesty on her titties. So that's really what this seems to be like. Because honestly, there is no actual counter argument to what Rachel is saying, and it hasn't been a counter argument to anything Rachel's been saying. Britney has just been wrong. Britney's been making fun of her for having had kids before her current husband. It's like, again, if she's a Christian, one of the strongest philosophical themes of Christianity is forgiveness, repentance, and recovering. If she would have done that, she would be one of the shining examples of Christianity, not against it. So, right? Not a counter argument. Rachel says she's a busty lady, and Brittany's like, your titties aren't that big. Well, they're big enough. You know, they're big enough to where she has to consider the clothes that she wears. Maybe they're not double, triple D's or whatever, but, you know, there's something going on up top. And so she's saying, as an individual who also is a part of the big titty brigade, I wear clothes that are appropriate. There you go. So the issue that I've been having is we're not really getting counter arguments. Miss Venti, what is the counter argument?
That smaller busted girls can. You could have just chose a shirt that actually fit appropriately.
Oh, okay. It looks like Rachel watches Bass F ZZ. Just wear a shirt that fits.
You see the same type of shirt on her, except she's just overweight instead, and she has a cross on. According to her logic, she should be wearing a cloak right now.
Well, the shirt's actually bigger. The shirt's actually, I think this is a dress. I actually don't think she's wearing a shirt at all. But it's a dress that drapes over her body, covers her up. Can't see all those different curves. She's just sitting down there, just smiling weakly at the camera. She does look awkward in this picture. I ain't gonna cap. Bro, she does look like she doesn't want to be here, bro.
A garbage bag. Like, we could see your boobage and your tummy edge. So is it really about modesty and fighting for Christianity?
Well, yes, because again, she's at a social function here, just in a black dress. As you would say, Brittany, she's just wearing a black dress. Whereas Miss DeLuca, on the other hand, look at, first of all, why can I, no, that's not her nipple. That's just like her bikini. I was about to say, I was like, is her nipple poking through there? No, it's not. It's not. False alarm. But again, what's this? What's this? This, that, this, that, this, that, this, that. Are we kidding? Hold on. This, that. This, that. What's with their, what are we pretending for?
And conservatism? Or is it about being jealous and bringing other women down to bring yourself up because they're not part of your trad thought coalition? The trad thought coalition will all be friends with each other, hate on every other woman on Twitter for not being as trad as them, but it's okay when they do it. I can't show it, but in Pearl's video, it's this one, Pearl Learns to Knead. She's not even wearing a bra and her nipples are poking out of the shirt. Pearl, the queen of modesty, talking about, I deem this appropriate for a wife and mother.
Bruh, hold on, bruh. All you would be saying is that they're just all in the muck, in the filth, bro. Well, not Rachel, because you've done a bad job of saying Rachel has been immodest. But even if Pearl is also immodest, that's all you would just be saying, that they're all the same.
Pearl here says, to be honest, the entire conversation about modesty is truly an attack on Christianity. They are mocking Christians for having Christian standards. A girl baking a cake in a t-shirt that she and her Tradlerp clique.
Look at these. This is some titty action. You know what's interesting to me? You know what's interesting? What's interesting to me is that Miss DeLuca here could have, heaven forbid, she could have just said, you know what? My bad. that shirt was a little too tight. My tatas, you know, they were looking a little too big, a little too big. And, you know, maybe I could have worn a shirt that's a little looser. My bad, guys. She could have just done that. But instead, she decided she chose war. And she chose war on Rachel Wilson. She chose war on Rollo Tomas. She chose war. She just flipped out. When she could have just bit the bullet and said, yeah, okay. My intentions, and she could have just maybe not even apologized, but just really just been like, you know what? My intentions were to show the cake, maybe be a little cute, and I didn't think too hard about my titties, and that's just super tight and my bad. But she didn't. And what's interesting to me is the fact that of course is compiled upon this. See, here's the thing, guys. Right? Here's the thing, guys. The problem really ultimately is. This is what the problem really is ultimately, right? Is that we have multiple. These are just the two I have pulled up. Examples of Miss DeLuca putting her beauty and sexuality in the forefront. It's consistent. Look at this. This is just her being attractive. And it's not wrong to be pretty. It's not wrong. But look at this. That's what she's putting in the forefront. See, that's what's the most important thing about her. I didn't make it that way. She did. And so when you have a consistent track record of putting yourself before any message, putting yourself before any ideology or any intelligent, conversation that you would be having, when you do that, then you have colored everyone's perception. And as such, we get this. This is like an example of the boy who cried wolf. Not exactly, but hopefully you understand the point. And that is, if you keep lying and lying and lying and lying, people are going to think that you're a liar. So even when you tell the truth, no one's going to believe you. And so it's not so much that it's a lie, but if you keep giving people the same presentation, if you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, that's what people's perception of you is going to be. So even when you're not trying to do that, again, you've had a whole 2-year-long string of you thirst trapping. So what are people going to think that you're doing here? You got to think you're thirst trapping.
Do not like is an attack on Christianity and modesty. Meanwhile, her nipples are poking through the shirt as she's cooking, but she gets to determine what's modest and what's not. And if you guys think that I'm the mean girl, well, first off, they're not very nice, as you can see. And I don't think...
Well, wouldn't that just mean all of you are mean girls?
that people that are like this, that are pick-me's, are entitled to someone being kind to them.
Because? Why aren't they? Oh no, a pick-me. Look at a pick-me who wants a man in her life. They should be mistreated because they want men or something like that. I don't know.
That aside, though, if you think I'm a mean girl, just wait until this next part. What I'm about to show you is some Class A mean girl stuff. So Isabella Riley, who's known for her offering her newborn child to a PDF file.
News, I actually don't want kids. So this is the funny thing about my Twitter. I play the part of a trad wife, play the part of a trad wife, play the part of a trad wife, play the part of a trad wife. But I'm like, I have no maternal instinct whatsoever.
Many months later.
My husband's texting me, and he said that he wanted me to tell you that we will have our daughter ready for you as a virgin.
John fucking Zerka, the greatest ever lived.
So this...
Okay, so, alright then. Okay, so, alright. There's a lot of problems with that clip, okay? Now, I'll be honest with you. I was not fine with that Isabella girl. Both Isabella DeLuca and the other Isabella. What's with these Isabellas, dude? Isabella is just not the name of a hero, apparently, bro. Or maybe I'm just not fond of Isabellas. My word. So here's the thing. Number one, Zerka's clearly joking. Okay, he's clearly over-exaggerating, and Zerka is a clown. Okay? He's a clown. I don't take him very seriously, and I don't like him. I don't respect Zerka either. The only reason Zerka's made it as far as he did is because he's a muscular man who is conventionally attractive. That's the only reason he is allowed to be the clown that he is. That's literally all it is. That's all that is, 110%. I don't respect him. I don't like him. And I think it says a lot that this nigga Zerka was even allowed to prosper to the extent that he has been this far. Those are my thoughts on Zerka. I wish the nigga would go away and never come back to the internet again. That being said, wow, was this a terrible admission from her point? Isabella Riley would... Whew, this is why you got to be careful on what you say on camera. Because here's the thing. Now I'm going to be fair. I'm going to give her a little bit of grace. She could have changed. Maybe this is her. Maybe at first it was a lie. First it was a performance. Or now if I'm going to just take it at his word, she's just going mask off here. Now clearly this was before, and clearly what we're looking at is after. But man, this was a terrible admission from Isabella's point. This was just oof. This did not age well. Ooh, talk about getting canceled. Talk about the past coming to haunt you, dude. That's one thing about the internet that's terrifying, dude. It will come back to get you, man.
I play the part of a trad wife, play the part of a trad wife, play the part of a trad wife, play the part of a trad.
Like this is now this is a conservative thought right here. I knew there was something off about Miss Riley. I knew it. I sensed it, bro. I sensed it in the atmosphere. I had no respect for her the first time I saw on the Whatever podcast.
Wife, but I'm I have no maternal instinct whatsoever.
Now I'm going to be really honest with you. Now again, a young lady can change. She can become better. Maybe this is how she was. She's changed her mind. I'm going to give you that. It's always totally possible. But I will say, for young men in the audience, guys, if a woman says this, for the most part, man, you might want to orbit just a little bit. Maybe, but you don't really want to. Again, that's not a good sign. It's not good.
Many months later.
My husband's texting me, and he said that he wanted me to tell you that we will have our daughter ready for you as a virgin.
Now that's a bad joke, and I hope that's a joke. That's nasty. That's nasty. I don't know why you're playing into Zerka's nonsense. That's nasty. Now Zerka is being now I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna be fair to Zerka being a clown. I'm certain that Zerka does not mean pedophile, as in he has an attraction to prepubescent children, as per what the word means. I'm certain, because I try my best to be good faith with people. What he means is that he is attracted to young looking women. Probably, obviously, 18, 19, 20, 25. No, probably younger than 25. Probably 22 is what he means when he says that. I'm certain that that's what he means. Okay, that's me being gracious. That being said, even with me being gracious, that is a nasty joke. It's a nasty joke. That's not. I find it very tough to defend that joke. I'm going to prepare my young baby for 18 years for you. That's the punch. It's not even a good one-liner. It's the only way you can call that a joke is that it's not a serious statement. And I acknowledge it's not a serious statement. Don't get me wrong, guys. I understand. It's her husband isn't being honest, right? He's not really going to do that. I know. But just for optics, just on the internet, just for things to be said, that's just not going to look good for you. That was just terrible. Yeah, you should never, you can make jokes like this in private, obviously, but you should never say this on the internet. That is terrible.
John fucking Zerka, the greatest ever lived.
So this girl, Isabella Riley, so not Cake Girl Isabella. This is a different Isabella.
You have miffed cuttlefish. I didn't believe I had a maternal instincts prior to becoming a mom. It's one of those things that just has to happen. And that's fair. That's true. I think I think you have a great point. For some people, how they think they're gonna act and how they will act is totally different. Even I've experienced that myself, where I believed I wouldn't care about someone or something, and over time, it revealed that I did care. So, I think that's true. However, I still think that you should. I'm not saying you should disregard the woman entirely, but you gotta be a little. You gotta proceed with caution with the lady that says that. I feel proceed with caution. Don't disregard her, but if she's saying that, you might want to analyze her a little bit and see why she feels that way.
Bella. She's part of this fake trad coalition. They all interact on Twitter. And these girls have a...
You know what? I would believe that she is fake trad. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think Isabella hasn't said anything that I see at all that's really consistent with any degree of, like, virtues. Any degree of, like, a strong conservative ideology from that front alone. It just seems like she just cashed out. She cashed out. She's like, oh, I'm going to get my conservative husband and I'm not going to work anymore. I'm just going to cash out.
a past too. Before I get into that, I just want to show the context of her hating on Cake Girl and saying, see, you can show a cooking recipe without her juggies taking up the whole screen.
She is right.
Get over her.
I mean, she's right. Like, she is right here. I'll give her that.
Milky moo-moos. All this bazunga kahunga hate as if implants don't exist.
Yeah, see, like Brittany, this is all just Brittany just remembering the trauma of people being upset with her titties, bro. I'm telling you.
And of course, Pearl's in the reply. As you can see from this photo, Trad LARP Isabella is casting stones at Cake Girl for posting bikini photos online for everyone to see. Meanwhile, she did the exact same thing. And this...
Well, she did the exact same thing, what, 2 years ago? Yeah.
This is not the only instance. And yet, here she is saying, why is it so hard for women to admit that they are purposefully wearing revealing or skin-tight clothing for male attention? In the photo I am blocking...
Yeah, I mean...
It's her and the other girl in the photo with their asses showing in panties with writing on their thighs. This looks like amateur porn. And yet here she...
No, that's absolutely softcore pornography.
She is on her...
That absolutely was 100%. She's still right. I'll give Isabella this. I'll give Isabella this. I saw her on the whatever podcast. And Isabella said that she did the same thing. She also raised as a feminist, did her wild party girl thinking and stuff. Maybe not party girl, but like did her dating around, I think is how she puts it. And so what we could be seeing is the remnants of that old skin. And now as she puts on her conservative skin, it's a different skin. But I mean, it's a skin all the same. But you know, you could have her be one way and then she's changed and now she's another. Now this could just be, again, her just going mask off and just telling you guys the truth. Because let's be real, that this is why they do it. I don't know why we're going to pretend otherwise.
Pedestal talking down to everyone saying, how dare you wear a t-shirt? And so before the whole Cakegate thing, some months back, she said that they needed to attack her, literally commanding her followers to attack her because she suspects that the Cake Girl...
Wait. We need to attack DeLuca. She's so desperate for a husband. She literally edits her photos. Well, hold on. Wait. Hold on. Wait. I'm a little confused. Because now I have to defend DeLuca. What's wrong with DeLuca wanting a husband? My issue is DeLuca, right? Is the great pretending, right? But what if all of this was indeed sexual advertisement to find a conservative husband? Guys, I think I cracked the Man, I need a camera so you can see my face. I realize I need a camera so I can show you guys my face. Like, obviously this is advertising for a husband. Obviously. Duh. Of course, that's kind of probably the problem. I say probably. That's a huge problem, right? The issue with this, right, is this is how do you say, if I were an alien, right? If I were an alien and I was studying humans, right? If I was an alien and I was studying human beings, I would say that this is the human female's sexual display to attract a mate, right? That's what she's doing here. That's what this is. The sexual display to attract a mate, right? If I was an alien studying human beings, that's what that would be. That's what this advertisement is, okay? So when Isabella comes here and she's so desperate, it's like, yeah, obviously. No shit. No shit. Now this is a fine criticism, not to mention she fucking steals everyone's tweets. That's a fine criticism. You could use that for, again, this is just the performance that Miss DeLuca puts on to get men to come to attract a conservative husband who, I guess, and you can even argue, in a real meta, real interesting sense, right, that Miss DeLuca has multiple quote unquote husbands that take care of her in her simps, right? Which I don't think there's very many simpy comments here. I don't think there'd be very many simpy arguments here, but that would essentially be what you could be arguing, that this is all a skin. This is all just a performance that she's doing in order to attract male attention, and I think that's fair. I think it's a fair argument. But her wanting a husband, that's fine. I think the issue is her settling for internet attention and just portraying some bullshit that isn't true.
Girl photoshops her photos. And she didn't even provide sufficient evidence of altering
Yeah, she's really trying to make that shit go on.
her body, because that's what she's circling here. I don't really see any warping here. So if there is any Photoshop, it's pretty subtle because I can't see it. This is what she's...
Man, I don't care. I don't give a fuck. This is petty.
using her following for. To attack a woman because she feels like she photoshopped a photo. And she
this is weak. No one cares.
thinks that drawing red circles...
I have to give this one to Brittany. Sorry, guys. Brittany has a point. This is weak. This is weak.
on things is going to prove that. I would get it if there was a bigger point to this, like she's trying to highlight some bigger idea like hypocrisy, or maybe it was photoshopped really bad, but she's just doing it for free and solely out of personal vendetta. So is it really about promoting
well, that sounds familiar. Not unlike any person that made the video we're watching too.
motherhood and conservatism and Christianity? Or is it because it's something else and personal? So she literally asked Kate Girl to debate her on who's more trad. It doesn't get much more cringy than this. Remember when I said that it's a performative thing? That's what I meant. And she also, for some...
Well, she's right. It is. And Brittany is right here. Now, I'm going to be honest. See, this is what's so goofy. Brittany could have just, let me just take all this on Rachel. Delete, gone. All this on Roller, delete, gone. All this, well, she can keep, what's his name? Aubrey, keep that. Aubrey to Isabella. Brittany's making good points. Why she decided to go for Miss Rachel Wilson is insane to me. Why she decided to pull in Rollo Tomasi like he really had anything to do with this is insane to me. When really, she could just focus on the fact that it's just two conservative thoughts arguing on their performance. One trying to perform better than the other. That's it right there. That's the whole video. I don't understand why we even needed to bring in the quote-unquote manosphere for this.
Some reason brings up her eating disorder, and she accuses Cake Girl of begging for a husband on Twitter, and she says, sincerely a married woman.
So there you go, right? Like, it's like, yeah, this one's pretty on the nose, right? This is a performance from what's with these Isabellas, dude? I'm telling you, there's something about being an Isabella. Something about it being an Isabella. You got one Bella married a vampire, another Bella married a goat man.
Woman.
Hopefully you guys get those references. It'd be really bad if you didn't. I'd feel bad if you didn't.
I know, it's so high school. Cake Girl claps back and says, show me a tweet of mine where I begged for a husband. Expressing that I can't wait to get married and start a family isn't begging. Sincerely, the woman your husband said he wanted to marry first.
Ooh, that is extremely catty, bro. Come on. At this point, bro, I'm watching Pretty Little Liars, the conservative edition. That is extremely feminine. Yeah. You can't call her trans. You can't fake that. Oh, sorry. If you're a lady in the audience, I'm sorry, but that was extremely catty. Oh my goodness, man, that was so catty.
She said, Josiah and I never dated because he was way too young for me. He would even privately message my mom and tell her that he was going to marry me and that I was his future wife.
Oof. That's petty. See, I'm going to be really honest with you, man. I really don't like Isabella DeLuca. I really don't. I don't like her. I don't. And I'll tell you why I don't like her, man. All she is trying to do is constantly embarrass other people to obfuscate from herself. And that's just mean, and that's just petty. And you should never do that to someone. You should never, ever, 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 ever do that to someone. If someone's married or someone has a boyfriend or girlfriend, you should never be like, well, they wanted me first. There's no reason to pick on someone's insecurities like that. You know, there's something called honor, right? You know, hitting above the belt, you know, and that's below it. That's obviously below the belt. That's mean. I don't like Isabella Riley either, but the very last thing you should do is like, well, your husband wanted me first. Yeah, that's real conservative. That's real modest. That's how you should be portraying yourself, you know.
That must crush her to read. Like, you're condescending to her, like, I'm married. And the other girl's like, he wanted to marry me first. Your sloppy seconds. By the way, the other Isabella, not Cake Girl, she married her husband when he was 19 and she was 24. Shortly after Cake Girl slammed her back with the your husband wanted me first, she went and bleached her hair blonde, just like Cake Girl.
Well, she actually didn't. First of all, I mean, this is dirty blonde. You're stretching.
In this photo, she's a little less blonde, so you could see the slow progression over time. You see, there's no need to hate on her. You can just skinwalk her instead. How is it that OF Isabella's husband...
Yeah, to be fair, they actually don't really look too dissimilar. I mean, like phenotypically. I don't even just mean their hair. I mean, like the shape of their fucking face, their eyebrows. They're really not all that different looking motherfuckers, man. That's kind of eerie.
The slow progression over time. You see, there's no need to hate on her. You can just skinwalk her instead. How is it that OF Isabella's husband wanted Cake Girl, you know, considering she dresses so inappropriately? He wanted her, he wanted to marry her, and meanwhile, OF Isabella is deeming her a slut. It's interesting how the husband doesn't think so, though. She not only told...
So yeah, why do they pour private discussions online? It's social reputation. That would have been. It's reputation destruction. What I was about to say was going to be redundant. But yeah, it's reputation destruction. That is one of women's greatest tools. They destroy your family, your image around you, in order to cut off your ability to obtain resources or to move up in life, or to get them away from themselves. They utilize the world around you to isolate you. It's really interesting, actually. And women, they don't just do this to men. They just do women, as you just saw, they do it to women too. Nobody's safe. Women will do this to other women. That's how they battle. And you could argue that part of it is because they don't really have physical strength and the capacity to, you could even say, to defend themselves in that realm. See, because the thing that's interesting, right, is because with men, the reason why men don't typically do stuff like this is because we know that there's only so far you can go before you have to fight. There's this whole concept of them's fighting voids. As men, we all understand there's only so much you can say before you have to scrap. And so what we do typically as men, usually, if we're trying to not fight, is we try to figure out different ways to settle conflicts. Now, obviously, I'm not talking about we play a children's card game. You know, we don't get spinning tops in a bowl and battle it out that way. But usually we try to argue. You know, usually we might throw some insults at each other. We might have a little ranking session, a little roasting session. But for the most part, with men, we kind of understand there's a cap to what you can do. Young ladies, on the other hand, who don't fight and who have never fought, don't have that cap. They don't have that that as I call honor, that code of conduct, to where they don't have a cap. They don't have a point of no return where you don't go past that point. They don't have that. And I think a huge reason why is because they don't fight. They don't usually feel like they'll have to fight each other, and they exist in this real catty environment of social destruction with each other. So that's why it always seems to be the case to me.
Told her followers to harass the cake girl before the incident even happened, but also said thank you for running this poll about how I'm so much better. Ooh, I'm so trad.
I mean, that was a pretty close poll, wasn't it? 8,599 votes. Only just barely. Just barely, dude. I don't even know if that's conclusive.
Thank you for running this poll about how I'm so much better. Ooh, I'm so trad. She's very desperate and try hard like Pearl. See, this is how women should dress at the gym. See, ladies, it's not that hard. You can do it too. Believe in yourself and stop being a whore. But yeah. The amount of try hard in this is just sickening. I think that modesty in the gym is great, but you wouldn't catch me yelling at everyone like, see, look how modest and trad I am, unlike those other girls. See, ladies, you can get male attention like me by bragging about how trad you are. Look how modest I am, wearing makeup to the gym so I can post a photo of myself being modest at the gym for attention online. Now please like my photo. It is so desperate, so it makes sense that her and Pearl are friends. These girls are desperate pick-me's. They want male attention. They put other women down to get the male attention. And a lot of them act out of jealousy even though they do the exact same thing that they insult other girls for. OF Isabella took her grift to the Whatever podcast, and she took the opportunity to condescend to Adam 22 about how degenerate he was as well.
One quick question. Are you concerned about your child? I believe it's she's a daughter, right? I have a daughter. I just gave birth a couple months ago. Do you ever worry that one day she'll see this content and maybe would you want her to be doing content like this? Is this something that would make you proud as a father to a young daughter?
I think every parent wants to see their offspring do better than them. So for sure, I wouldn't like to see her, just sort of default to that just because she knows that her parents did it.
You have Isabella tweeting Adam 22 here saying, I feel so bad for this poor little girl who will one day be exposed to porn videos of her own parents. This is sick. Meanwhile, OF Isabella, well, we know why I'm calling her that. And she has a daughter. I'm not defending Adam 22's lifestyle, but it's just the
Hold on, did I mute my microphone again? Man, I'm a dickhead.
audacity that OF is a
Yeah, I think if I go back here, damn, bro. Man, I'm a dickhead, aren't I? Dang, man. What point did I, what was the last point you guys heard? For at least 2 minutes? Let's go back 2 minutes then.
so I can
Here, was it about this part here? Here. We'll wrap up the video around this point then. Yeah, I'm back. I'm back, guys. Damn, bro. Maybe I gotta put the chat up on. I'm telling you, man, this microphone. It's a good microphone, but like very sensitive mute button on it. So let's take it from here. Around, like, let's go right here.
try hard like Pearl. See, this is how women should dress.
And you guys, we got to this part though, right, guys? It's like this point.
At the gym. See, ladies, it's not that hard. You can do it too. Believe in yourself and stop being a whore. But
yeah, this part here was very clearly her being incendiary. Yeah, she was very clearly being. Now she's not wrong. You could dress like this at the gym, but this right here, believe in yourself. Yeah, yeah. She's looking for a fight on that one. That's what that is.
yeah, the amount of try hard in this is just sickening. I think that modesty in the gym is great, but you wouldn't catch me yelling at everyone like, see, look how modest and trad I am, unlike those other girls. See, ladies, you can get male attention like me by bragging about how trad you are. Look how modest I am, wearing makeup to the gym so I can post a photo of myself being modest at the gym for attention online. Now please like my photo. It is so desperate, so it makes sense that her and Pearl are friends. These girls are desperate pick-me's. They want male attention. They put other women down to get the male attention, and a lot of them act out of jealousy even though they do the exact same thing that they insult other girls for.
No, this is the thing, right? I think I was making a point about Pearl. I think people call Pearl a pick-me a lot, and I don't know if I can really fully grant that. Pearl seems like she's so pig-headed in her bluntness that she more comes off as autistic than she really comes off as a pick-me. I'm gonna be really honest. I don't know if I'll grant Pearl a pick-me status. That her entire desire is she wants men to be nice to her. Doesn't seem like it at all. Again, the reason why is Pearl is just so blunt and kind of just above a lot of this stuff here. And when I say above, I mean like if you were to watch Pearl kind of discuss a topic and everyone like counter argues, there's multiple times where she won't even be swayed by the weeds. She'll just be like, no, that's stupid. No, I'm not doing that. That's nonsense. There's this one example off the top of my head. I was watching she was talking about like MGTOW with 4 other guys. Andrew Wilson was actually there. And this one dude was trying to cut her off, and Pearl's like, no, I'm not going to listen to you. I'm going to keep saying what I was saying. Pearl does not kowtow at all to male attention at all. She doesn't do that. Pearl also, I don't really see Pearl thirst trapping. But it just doesn't seem, I wouldn't put that on Pearl as being a pick-me. Lots of women do. Now Isabella, Miss Riley here, she's definitely trying to make herself out to be the model conservative wife. That is her objective, right? And unfortunately, here's the truth about some women. Some women can indeed get married, and they still want other men. That's to be fair. Now, I don't really know entirely if Isabella still wants other guys. I don't know. I'm not going to put that, but it is possible. It is possible to be married and still be a pick-me. I will grant that. I will grant Brittany that. 100%. Said, don't forget, Venti has an OnlyFans. Also, you didn't read the last super chat. Did I not? Let me see. Let me go back up. So he asked, so ACZ asked, didn't Venti have a train ran on her? Why is she calling a married woman a thought? Now, look, man, I don't know nothing about Brittany Venti having a train ran on her. I can't speak to that. I have no earthly idea. I will say she doesn't strike me as someone that would. I will grant Brittany Venti that. I could be wrong, but she does not at all strike me as someone that would be that degenerate. Why is she calling a married woman a thought, though? I think I kind of explained that through our commentary at the time. To answer your super chats, my man. It's because she wants to obfuscate from Isabella being the thoughty body because she resonates. That's really what it is. Brittany resonates with Isabella as being a part of the Big Titty Brigade. That's why she's trying to obfuscate and make Rachel Wilson seem like she's the real thoughty when it's nonsense. Again, this video Brittany made, literally just let me just all this Rachel Wilson, delete. All this on Rula Tomasi, delete. Just make it about Isabella Riley. Just her and Aubrey. Her and that Aubrey dude should have been the whole video. Everything else was just terrible argumentation. But this, when she's talking about this, it does make sense. Brittany's making sense here.
OF Isabella took her grift to the Whatever podcast, and she took the opportunity to condescend to Adam 22 about how degenerate he was as well.
One quick question. Are you concerned about your child? I believe it's she's a
Got
daughter,
banned in the
right?
titty.
I have a daughter. I just gave birth a couple months ago. Do you ever worry that one day she'll see this content and maybe would you want her to be doing content like this? Is this something that would make you proud as a father to a young daughter?
I think every parent wants to see their offspring do better than them. So for sure, I wouldn't like to see her, just sort of default to that just because she knows that her parents did it.
You have Isabella tweeting Adam22 here saying, I feel so bad for this poor little girl who will one day be exposed to porn videos of her own parents. This is sick. Meanwhile, OF Isabella, well...
You said, is Venti busty? She looks like she's on the smaller size. No, she's pretty busty. Nah, or at least she was, from what I remember. She might have lost weight, lost the tatas, but yeah, there's a time. Brittany Venti, yeah. You couldn't separate Brittany Venti from her big titties.
We know why I'm calling her that. And she has a daughter. I'm not defending Adam 22's lifestyle, but it's just the audacity that OF Isabella and this whole Tradlarp coalition has to speak like this to other people.
The audacity to share their opinion? Haven't you been doing that for the last 34 minutes? Well, it's been 3 hours for me. Come on, Brittany. Let's be real, man. Let's be fair.
As if they got everything right. Everyone makes mistakes, and it doesn't mean you can't speak on.
Wait. Hold on.
Has to speak like this to other people as if they got everything right. Everyone makes mistakes, and it doesn't.
But not Rachel. Rachel doesn't get to make mistakes. Rachel doesn't get to make mistakes and change and get married 17 years ago and raise 2 more kids with her husband. Everyone makes mistakes but Rachel Wilson. Okay.
Doesn't mean you can't speak on issues or say what you think is morally wrong. But the difference here is that the Tradlarp coalition is taking it as an opportunity to put themselves on a pedestal while talking down to people where they once were. So now you're going to cast a stone at them? When you go to someone who's doing the same thing you did and you talk down to them, you're not showing them the mercy or grace that you would have want shown to you. Where was
I'll give her that. I'll give her that. No, I'll give her that one. I'll give her that one for Isabella. I won't give her that one for Rachel Wilson. Rachel definitely was not doing that. But I'll give her that. I don't know why that wasn't the whole video. We could have been home a long time ago if she just would have just said that.
F Isabella purity testing when it came to Pearl baking on her wife's school channel with her tatas poking out of her shirt. Or when she's saying it's about posting bikini photos online, but she herself did that, and so did her friend Pearl. They all give each other a pass, and it's not like it was 10 years ago. These are recent things.
Yeah, but again, we have to discuss the intent, right? Now, the bikini photos that you were showing... Here, let's go back a little bit.
But
This one here, right, is not the same as this one here. It's not the same. Here, she's clearly at the Lago Mar Lagoon with her friend. It's clearly, she's with her friend. They're hanging out. They're having a grand old time. She's with other people. She just cropped this picture out. As you can see, she's with other people. She just cropped the picture out to post. Now I have to defend Isabella Riley. This, what is this about? 100K. What's this about? Just her getting 100 followers on Twitter. This is about her. The whole thing is, this is just her. It's not the same thing. Mercy, 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 mercy. Not the same thing. What she should have done is showed me, where is it? Is to show me that one, the one wedding picture, not even a wedding, when she's just like the softcore porn that she was doing. That's what she should have said, because that was clearly intending to sexually tell. Like, where was it? I'm trying to see if I can scroll through this. Hold on, over here, somewhere over here.
Virgin, a husband,
Brad wife.
This right here. This, like, if you're showing me,
I like play the part of a trad wife.
Right.
Play the part of a
you're showing me this, right? That's probably some Halloween stuff.
trad wife.
That's right.
Play the part of a trad.
This? Come on.
Trad wife. Play the.
This? Now this is now if you were to show me these two pictures, and then you were to come back and then tell me that she's looking down on someone doing the same shit she was doing, I would give you that one. The bikini pictures, weak argument. Weak argument. Weak. Piss poor. Unnecessary. Piss poor. Oh, hey, she brings up Andrew.
About the trad.
Hey, look at that. Hold on. Is this all about Mr. Will? Oh, no. 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 The reason why I'm saying no is because I was supposed to end this at the 30-minute mark. And now I see her talking about Andrew Wilson, and I want to watch it. No. Oh, no. Okay, guys. I'm gonna put this in your hands. Okay, you guys tell me. Do I need to keep going? Got $10 from ACZ. Venti did have a train round on her when she was younger at a con, and apparently there are photos of. And these were the photos sent to Rolo, allegedly. And she does have an OnlyFans. What a hypocrite. I believe the OnlyFans. She probably does have an OnlyFans. As far as that, if I remember correctly, didn't Brittany and Lauren make... No, I think they made it up for Lauren Southern cheating with... I don't know. It's a whole ops thing. Maybe she did. I don't know. If Brittany did get her... If Brittany did get a train ran on her, that doesn't have much to do with my disagreements with her today. We'll save that for another time. I won't speak on that. I don't have enough information. But all right, man. You guys say keep going. We got to see her talk about Andrew Wilson. I wonder what is in store for us here. Let's go.
Con grifter scumbags. The argument is centered around who do we want to represent us? Do we want kind of these typified East who have nothing of value at all to say? So I think it's a fight worth having.
So he says it's a fight
what is the counter argument?
worth having, where he goes on to host an entire call-in session on Twitter to expose Cake Girl for baking on the timeline. But then how come he didn't do the same with Nick Fuentes? Rachel Wilson was in tight with Groypers and Nick Fuentes, and at some point Nick went downhill. When Rachel Wilson rightfully called out Nick Fuentes for protecting a guy who was caught asking kids for inappropriate pictures, Andrew Wilson decides that actually that's infighting and not worth it.
When the Holy Spirit selected Mary, did the Holy Spirit go, let's look for a mature woman that I have something in common with? I need to find one of those mature women that is smart and has common interests and things in common with me. Or did the Holy Spirit go and say, I need to How old was the Virgin Mary? I think she was like, well, she wasn't 18. I'll say that much. If I'm dropping these red pills on you, you're going to shut up and stop, dude. Just stop. Why?
But a girl with big kahunga ungas wearing a...
I don't know. I'm not a fan of Nick Fuentes. Never happened. I don't think I will be anytime soon. We let it go. I apologize to Fuentes on behalf of the Wilsons for any transgressions against AF. I'm tired of fighting with everybody and it's unproductive. If the Groypers keep their word, I will keep mine. Not going to fight with any of these people. I just had a conversation with Andrew Wilson on Twitter. We had a good talk and we reached an understanding that the fighting between us has been unproductive. Well, wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait, Brittany. Hold on. Hold on. Let me take this back just 1 second. If I can understand this.
Nick went down.
So he has the nerve to call a Christian running around yelling Christ is King when he's saying things like this in defense of his homosexual pederast groomer friend Ali Akbar. Rachel went in on him, right? So he defends that why the Holy Ghost picked a 13-year-old to birth Jesus, right? Then Andrew says he had a conversation with Fuentes. Fuentes says the same thing. I apologize. They both apologize to each other and they move on. Now, chat, tell me, what is the difference between this with Fuentes and this with Miss DeLuca? What's the big difference? See, I'll give you guys a second to see if you can guess. Venti e-bag to pay for plastic surgery. She's not truly busty. She got implants. She's a 304 narcissist. That's why she's triggered. Maybe. I don't have the information to speak on that. I don't care one way or the other if she got implants or not. I care about her arguments being terrible, which they are. They are piss poor. I waited long enough. Guys, the reason why this is totally not the same is that Fuentes and Andrew confronted each other and had a conversation. All Isabella did was just deflect, and deflect. I can respect this a lot more than I can respect Mr. Luke. At least they had a conversation and they both came to an understanding.
Line. I guess he'd rather side with someone who advocates for there being no age of consent laws.
I think the age of consent should be lower. I don't even really believe in the concept. You want to know why? Because marriage is consent.
Very creepy. And Mr.
I don't know, man. People like Fuentes. I don't.
Holier.
But here's the thing. This is one thing I don't like. You can't do this guilt by association thing. If Andrew Wilson hasn't said he agrees or co-signs with that, why should I look at Fuentes saying this? It would appear they came to whatever apology or understanding in that conversation. If Isabella would have done that, I would be saying the same thing. This is kind of my problem here. Why didn't Miss DeLuca have any conversation with anyone else and say the same thing and apologize to them? Why did she deflect 15 ways to Sunday? Just because Fuentes has his weird opinion here doesn't mean Andrew shares it. I'm not giving you that. I can't give you that. Sorry. It's a bad argument.
Than thou, Crusader Andrew Wilson, who's here to tell you about those e-skanks, slutting up those traditional, pure, conservative spaces. He had on an OnlyFans girl and did the same thing that the Manosphere podcasts do. He blasted her milky moo-moos all over his thumbnail, taking up a...
Well, I'm going to be really honest with you, okay? Be really honest with you. Maybe I can give you 1/4 of a point. I'm going to give you 1/4 of a point. I'm going to explain why I'm giving Brittany 1/4 of a point. Okay? The person who made the thumbnail could have cropped out the titties. They could have. Now I'm going to give her that quarter. Now the reason why I'm giving Brittany 1/4 of a point and not half a point and not a full point is because Jasmine Jafar only ever bombards her titties, okay? Any picture you see with Jasmine Jafar will include her titties. That's just what that is. That's just what she does. She always shows her titties, no matter what. Sorry. So that's why she gets a quarter of a point. The person who made the thumbnail could have not shown Jasmine's titties, but all Jasmine ever does is show her titties. It's literally her job.
Huge portion of his thumbnail. Now, as a Christian crusader,
Well, look,
why?
bro, let's not pretend the huge portion. Can we stop acting brand new? We get the cleavage here. One half of the titty is fully covered up. That's crazy. We're over here talking about titties like
The
this.
same thing that the Manosphere podcasts do, taking up a huge portion of his thumbnail.
Now, honestly, that makes up probably quite literally like 10%. If that's 10%. It's not even a fourth. It's not even a fourth of the thumbnail. Unless you want to say from here to there is a fourth.
Now, as a Christian crusader, why would you want to tempt your Christian followers into sinning? It's practically like
Wait. Hold on, wait. Hold on. Wait. No, wait. No, you can't say that. No. Wait. No, you can't say that, Brittany. Bruh, you can't say that, bro. You can't, bro. You can't. Bro, you can't say that. If using her in a thumbnail with a little teeny tiny cleavage is tempting, bruh, what's this? With her licking her teeth, licking her lips. What even? What are you doing? Look at her titty. Come on. Hold on. Not this. I wanted to get the picture. Mercy, bro.
OF advertisement in their face when he could have easily cropped the image. It takes such little effort to do this or use a different photo of her. But no, just like whatever podcast and Fresh and Fit, he had to.
Oh yeah, you said Jasmine got destroyed by Edge? Oh yeah, absolutely. She got eviscerated. Man, that was painful. Man, talk about being thoroughly embarrassed. I don't think Jasmine has enough shame to be embarrassed by that portrayal, but man, that was an awful run-in from her point.
Put the most provocative photo that he could find.
Oh, this is not. The most. You can. There's some provocative photos of Miss Jafar. Brittany, and I don't think that's it. Let me see if I can find it. There's some. Nah, these aren't bad. I gotta tell you, when she pauses, man, does she look freaky. Which, to be fair, don't get me wrong, guys. When anyone pauses on a frame, they're gonna look kind of weird, right? I get you. But she just looks not even human if you ever take a frame of her pausing, she doesn't even look like a person. She doesn't look like a human anymore, man. But yeah, here you go. Here's her a butt picture. This is even showing more of her titties there. This one's not really the worst. It's not good, but it's not the worst. You know, that's okay. But I mean, and then here's YouTube doing its stupid nonsense. There you go. Look at this. The most provocative? Come on, bro. Now don't get me wrong. They could have cropped her face out a little bit more, or cropped her titties out a little bit more. But bruh, come on. This is a poor argument.
To put in the thumbnail. If it weren't for the YouTube TOS, I wouldn't doubt that these guys would put even more provocative photos of these girls in their YouTube thumbnails for clicks. Because why stop there, right? It would get more views, since that seems to be their reason for doing it. It's not like it's for demonstrative or educational purposes. Like, hey, here's what I'm talking about. It's so that they get male attention, so they get viewership, and thus promoting the OnlyFans.
You know what, Seg? I'll give you that. Uncanny. Uncanny is a great word to use. I was wrong. 100% that she does look uncanny, and that's not the first time I've seen I've paused or I've seen a pause frame of her, and she just it looks uncanny. That is a great word.
Girls as well. So that's when it stops being about discourse and it starts to be more about exploiting the women's sexuality for their own gain, despite apparently being against that. But anyway, later on, Andrew Wilson had people call into his show to talk about Cake Girl.
My problem with Isabel DeLuca, and I want you guys all to like know this and hear this, is that the girl is a liar and a fraud and a bad person. And I know this from personal experience. I worked at a company where she was fired for plagiarism. She steals everybody's tweets. And while she worked there, she also faked that she had some cancer operation that she had to have and like went to a concert or something.
She basically says that she's a liar and a plagiarist. And that is the clip here that Rachel Wilson is posting from her husband's little gossip session. Now, I don't know if any of these claims are true. I haven't seen any.
Now, to be fair, I'm not fond of little call-ins and little gossips like that. I always appreciate more information. That's incredibly important to me. I don't like reporting on stuff or saying things that aren't true, or at least things I can't substantiate with reasonable common sense. So I don't know if that's the case. I remember I was on that Twitter space. I tried to get on it and kind of discuss my thoughts too, but he didn't get to my call. I actually don't even think I don't have Twitter. I don't have blue mark or check mark on Twitter, so I don't even think I could get into the spaces. So
any receipts, and Cake Girl Isabella says that it's not true.
Yeah, so that's extremely defamatory. She better be right, or she'll be sued for those statements. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: for a defamation lawsuit to occur, there has to be monetary losses, and not specifically monetary, but there has to be provable losses due to the allegations or due to the defamation, right? So if you get fired from your job, if you like lose a contract, if you lose clients, if you can prove that you have lost something out of being out of these rumors, out of this defamation, that's when you have a lawsuit. But someone can just come on the internet and just say lies about you. They can. It's not right. Obviously, it's morally wrong. But again, unless you lose something, the court of law can't really prove that there's any defamation. They just say, well, I mean, people are mean to you, but you're still employed. You're still making the same amount of money. You didn't lose anything. There's no case. So that's how that works, for better or for worse, which I think makes sense. I don't think that's a awful way to look at defamation.
True, so I guess it's just her word.
So he says, nope, not for defamation per se. Accusing a person of fraud is defamation per se. No damage is necessary. Maybe. Yeah, I'll lean on to that. You're right. I don't have enough knowledge to back that up. From just a limited, when I looked into defamation lawsuits, that's what I saw. But I'll take your word for it.
Against hers, and it very well could be true, but even if it were, it's kind of a.
Yeah, and then he goes, two links says, I saw that call-in show. Andrew does point out that it was a bold claim that the lady was putting out there. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm not gonna put much stock into it. You gotta show me the Carfax, man. You gotta show me the whole facts. Gotta show me the whole facts. All right, Myth Cuddlefish, if you're leaving, thanks for joining us. Wrap up the stream later when you got the time, my friend. Have a good day.
Relevant to baking a cake and a t-shirt, and people calling her a slut for that and saying how it's an attack on Christianity and modesty. Now, the person calling in is Lisa Elizabeth, and she is the booker for Tim Pool. She's also OF Isabella's bestie.
Like Isabella Riley's in here, and she worked with her as well, but she, she's beautiful and smart, and her whole career, she won't even come on the show anymore to talk about how she stepped away from it so she could go get married and live a godly life. Like, these are the women that we want to lift up. This is what our party should be. And there's so many beautiful women to highlight, yet we've got this simp army of these liars, like literal liars.
And she goes on to talk about how she saw Cake Girl at the airport and took photos of her to send to people and make fun of her.
She was in front of me in TSA, and I took a picture of her outfit to send to my friend James, and I wish I still had it. But she was in a blue spaghetti strap dress, the Twitter check color blue, with her butt hanging out the back, like that's with tiny spaghetti straps, and she was like falling all out of it because she's not a thin girl. And I'm thinking, are you gonna be cold in the airport? Like, it was that ridiculous that I was like, James, look at this. Like, it was a lot. So
I gotta be honest. It's a little catty. It's a little catty. Yeah, it's a little catty. To be fair, I mean, that's not the most egregious of the considering, right? But yeah.
Oh, I mean, I'm not trying to hate on the girl. I'm sure that it probably sounds like it. That's what people always say.
Anyway, while Lisa is busy not hating on her bestie's mortal enemy in the Trad Thought Olympics, she continues to complain about these trad larpers and how fake they are.
Frustrating to see girls lie and LARP and do all this, and people are believing them. There's so many people like that on our side, and you know, it people find out, and then it damages it more than just us infighting about it, honestly.
I agree. Anyway.
Oh, and by the way, she hardly looks like that in person. She has all these like airbrushed pictures of herself with this flat stomach and stuff. She's got a fupa. She doesn't look like that, right? And
I don't care. I don't care. I didn't care I was here for. This is mostly for you guys, but this is catty. I don't care.
So the whole thing is just a fabricate. The whole thing's a lie. I mean, I could drive.
Oh, woe betide unto me that she doesn't look like this normally? No shit. No, what's this you say? This is a curated image of her? Actually, I think this is her with a little less makeup on. What's this you say? She doesn't appear like this often, all the time? Oh my. Oh, word. I would have never imagined. Oh, jeez. Come on.
Drop the pictures in here if you want, but like it's just nonsense, and everybody
Drop 'em.
knows it.
Drop them.
Yeah, here, I'll do it for you. Hold on, wait, let me just put this up. I'm not trying to be like a hater.
I'm not trying to be a hater, but Lisa is going on a rant about how fake Cake Girl is and how she doesn't look how she looks in real life. But this is how Lisa portrays herself online. For example, this is how her profile picture looks. Generally, this is how she presents herself. Every photo of her pretty much looks like this. Most people would say she looks late 20s, early 30s, you know, a young woman. But then she looks...
No, I'd give her about a good 27, 28.
Looks completely different on Timcast.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Looks like
she looks like she's about 28.
Looks generally
yeah.
Woman,
No point would I ever look at this woman and think early 20s. Yeah, she's got a very mature look to her, I would say.
She looks completely different on Timcast.
Oh wow, God, I am shocked. I never would have imagined you remove the makeup and she looks different.
It looks like she's in her 40s, which is fine, you know, because she is. She's 42 years old. And there's nothing wrong with
To be fair, yeah, that makeup, she did a pretty good job on her makeup. She's 42. Shoot, I thought she was like 28.
looking your age. But how can you cast
She does look a lot more like, she does look like 40 here. Yeah, I'll give her 38, 40.
stones at someone for editing their photos too much when you're editing 20 years off of your face? And this is her when she's all dolled up for Timcast. It's not like a random creep shot someone took of someone at the airport, you know, to make fun of them. And like I said, I'm not hating. I don't want everyone to think that.
Why does everyone keep saying I'm not hating in the act of hating? You think just because you say you're not doing it doesn't mean that you change it. It doesn't stop. Now this looks uncanny. I had to stop my train of thought when you pause. Oh man, but yeah, I don't know why people keep saying that. Lisa was saying I'm not hating on her either. What is with this feminine? I'm not. Yes, you are. That's what you're doing currently. It's okay. Just be honest. Be real. You're hating.
That I don't even think she looks bad, and she looks like a sweet southern homely 40-something-year-old. But I just find it to be a little hypocritical and a little
she's really gnashing her teeth there. I will tell you.
little distasteful to attack someone for altering their photos too much when you're catfishing your age. I don't find any.
I'm not gonna say that she's catfishing her age. Like, is she lying about looking 28? Because to me, it just looks like she's wearing makeup. That's just what women do. Like, you just gotta be upset with the makeup industry for this one. I'll give Brittany half of a point. So how many points does Brittany have? Brittany has maybe 2.5 points. I don't know. I'll give her half of a point. You can't really go on to also curate your image on the internet and then go back and say someone else is curating it. It's like, yeah. That's a little, yeah. There's a little, yeah. Duh. No, duh. We're not new here. We're not stupid. Of course we know Isabella's not going to look like this, normally or all the time or frequently. Yeah, it's a curated image for the internet, much like you would do. That's okay.
Anything wrong with tweaking your photos a little bit here and there, so long as you still look like yourself within the past 5 years, especially if you're gonna call other people out on that. So basically, we not only have OF Isabella commanding her simps to attack the girl she's jealous of that her husband tried to marry first, literally asking for her to be harassed on the basis of her suspecting Photoshop. But then we have Rachel Wilson's husband, her getting her husband to continue the dog pile and make an entire episode that was 3 hours long dedicated to calling Cake Girl a skank for baking in a t-shirt. These women are getting their husbands to attack Cake Girl. They're getting their...
I don't like this. I don't like this whole attack thing, right? Look, listen. Anytime you post yourself on the internet, you open yourself up to criticism, fam. Like, the issue, the attack, I would say, would probably be the catty rumors being flung. Sure, the cattiness, absolutely. But if there's a legitimate argument being made, and the legitimate argument that Isabella DeLuca here, I don't need that image anymore, shouldn't be the face of conservatism, if she's gonna make her sexuality or her attractiveness the most important thing about her branding or her messaging, she shouldn't be the main one to discuss these ideas. Boom. That's a fair argument, I think. That's not the leader that we should have, because the leader that we have is someone that puts herself before the message. That's fair. You have to argue that point. You can't just say, yeah, well, everyone else is just a hypocrite. Okay, fine. Let's say they all are hypocrites. Okay, let me just say I really grant that for sake of argument. It still wouldn't make Isabella right. Still wouldn't make her right.
Simps to attack Cake Girl. They're attacking Cake Girl. Rachel's even trying to pit other women against Cake Girl. See, Mary's cute, unlike you.
Yeah, he says Venti without the cattiness would make great videos. They would certainly be a lot better. They would be pretty good. They'd be a lot better if Brittany were to just rip out all of the cattiness. Now, to be fair, if she did, this video would only be all of 20 minutes long. To be fair, we got a good 20 minutes of her being catty. Maybe this might even be 15 minutes long, but they would be a lot better. I agree with you. Brittany's videos would be a lot better if she was not so catty. It's totally unnecessary.
Slut cover up. She brought in a whole nother party, someone who was not part of it at all, and is talking about her boobs. That's why I wanted to make this video, because it is so insane and entertaining how violently jealous these women get, and how far they're willing to go to bring a pretty girl down. A pretty girl who was basically just minding her own business. To wrap up Cakegate, how it ended was it made the news. Rachel says, "You gotta be kidding me." She says, "It's a long game. With all this exposure, she's either gonna step it up and create more meaningful content, or she's going to be proven to be exactly what people thought she was. It's not up to me." Meanwhile, this is Rachel's meaningful content, apparently. Her husband, Andrew Wilson, claims that this is fake. It was a little bit conflicting. She claimed that it was real, but it was a joke, so I don't understand that. But she says that this photo is from her Instagram. It's just taken out of context and photoshopped into here to make it look like she was DMing it to a guy. But it really is odd how high definition this photo is of her feet. Like, why are you posting pictures of your feet? It's not like the rest of her was showing and then
what even
it was cropped, because it's coming from this angle. So what else would be showing in the photo?
Who cares?
So
why do we care? Who cares?
It smells fishy here for Trad Mom. But yeah, Pearl replied to Rachel commenting about meaningful content and being
Well, 50027. I asked you guys to And so I was like, I thought we were gonna argue with Andrew Wilson a little bit more. We didn't argue with Andrew. We got like a little snippet. That made me a little sad. I thought she would try to argue a little bit more.
Conservatives saying, I hate it here.
What's up, John? What's up, my man? Call me the genius. I'm not that smart.
Lol. Pearl all the time laughs about, oh haha, I say anything I want and get followers. It's this easy on Twitter. But then when other people do it, essentially, then it's a problem. Rules for thee, but not for me. And Isabella,
that's my phrase.
What is just baking a cake in a t-shirt versus Predator Pearl tweeting things like this about 16-year-olds and how they're, quote, hotter than adults. And saying things like this are how she got her notoriety and featured in the news. So why is she hating? We know why. Because she's jealous. And so is Rachel Wilson, seeming so unhappy that Cake Girl made the news over Rachel's dumb tweets hating her. That must really suck. Imagine being...
Well, this is entirely projective. There is nothing to suggest that the reason why Rachel was upset with that was because it was her instead of herself. It was Isabella instead of Rachel. I realized that sentence was terrible. Nothing. I would imagine, just kind of based on, this is just having good faith and which would match the consistency, that she's upset that the story itself made the news at all. Like, you're kidding me that people are trying to defend this and are fine with this when she shouldn't be the face of conservative politics or ideas. And I think that's fair. I think that's true. I don't think she should be. I don't think the other Isabella Riley should either.
Being jealous of someone and then all you do is help them get paid. I saved the best for last. Remember that guy earlier who was asking for his followers to pay his alimony while he's trying to ask a woman out? He came back to Twitter and he was coping constantly. He replied to like 3 different people saying, no, I just deleted my account because I was on vacation. I was never embarrassed. I was on vacation with my kids and didn't need a distraction. Oh yeah, sure. That's what it was. You weren't embarrassed at all.
He was embarrassed.
You should be, because it was...
Nah, bro. You were embarrassed, bro. Now you look guilty when you say that, bro. You should have just held the L and just ignored it. You should have just kept it pushing.
was embarrassing. Haha, let's get cocktails and make bad decisions. I was on vacation with my kids and didn't need a distraction. I'm back now and the kids are with their mom. My boys come way before anything on social media. Yeah,
Bruh, you could have just put the phone on silence. I don't want to hear it, bruh. I don't want to hear it, bruh. You got cooked and you were embarrassed. That's what that was, bruh. Bruh wants to pretend we don't have the silence option on our phones. Bruh wants to pretend he can't go to settings, stop notifications for X, stop notifications for Twitter, and keep it pushing. Bruh pretends he can't quite literally just ignore the notifications on his phone. I don't want to hear it, bruh. You were embarrassed. Hold the L. Hold the L, please. Hold the L with dignity.
He thought by using his kids as a shield that it would make up for this mess. And you know he's coping because he slipped up here. No way. I was simply in a slump. Fortunately, I was able to meet up with a slump buster yesterday and found my groove again. What are you in a slump about? I messaged her before I knew she was into attention. Once I knew that, I unfollowed her and didn't care at all.
Yeah, okay, dude. I'm giving this one to Brittany. Brittany gets a full point. Okay, dude.
But her
dude, hold the L, bruh. Just be defeated gracefully.
Response would have been, it's amazing, isn't it, that people can change their minds? Oh yeah, just convenient. This is the final nail in the coffin if you didn't think he was sour grapesing before. Anyone else get the impression that Cake Girl might not be all that stable? Oh, so now she's not stable. Tree says, you're the POS who deactivated your Twitter account when she leaked your DMs to her perv. It's so obvious you're...
No, wait. See, this is one thing I don't like. This is one thing you'll notice that I've been defending people. I've been going back and forth saying there's a good point in defending because people can't just stick to things. People just can't stick to something. Why is Tree of Logic calling him a perv? Because he shot his shot. What is wrong with that? Why are we going to demonize bruh for shooting his shot? I'm demonizing bruh for not taking the L gracefully. Take the L. Hold the L. She ignored you. And to be fair, he has grounds to argue this is pretty disrespectful from her point. Why is Isabella trying to put me on blast in the first place? That was private. That happened between us. Everything else happened in public. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Now, you know what else is fair? He probably shouldn't have made his tweet way back when in the beginning, where he was making where he was saying all they have all this different debt, you know, and they bring drama. That was unnecessary. He should have just stuck to the point. But Tree of Logic, why are you calling him a perv for shooting his shot? I don't understand this. The demonization of male sexuality, it's just not something I stand for. He got embarrassed. Just stick to the point. He got embarrassed.
Sour Grave saying, stop. It's so embarrassing. You're making it worse. That was one hell of a rabbit hole to dive down and dig through everything. I think the only reason I was able to do it is because I've met some of these people in real life, so I understand how it works. But if you guys support my content, leave a like, subscribe.
Okay, and that's about the end of that right there. So, all right, you guys. In conclusion, Isabella ain't it, Chief? No, but I mean, personally, I'm not gonna say I don't have a dog in the fight. My opinion is very simple. I'm not fond of performative conservative women in the same way I'm not fond of you know, promiscuous slutty women who say what they need to say on the internet, will go on Twitter and say, hey, look at my yams, or hey, she's, you know, you guys are probably seeing on Twitter all the different OnlyFans girls who will jump into a popular meme post to just advertise, right? It's all performative, you know, or like, I'm gonna be your girlfriend, you know, come join me for the girlfriend experience. It's the same thing. It's just a different skin, and the skin that they choose to wear is, I am a great traditional wife that you should follow. And to be honest with you, if you're going to be anything, you know, being a being a lady who is the benchmark of femininity as a traditional wife, is far superior than being a ethot. It just is. Someone saying, wow, I wish I could marry you and spend the rest of my life with you, I'm going to be honest with you, it's probably 200 times better than, damn, that's a big old fat booty you got. One's going to make you feel degraded. The other's going to make you feel like you're on top of the world. And I think it makes sense that some of these women here would definitely come and they would wear the conservative ethot skin. It makes perfect sense. And I think that to pretend otherwise is really uncharitable to our intelligence and is a little disrespectful. I think it's a little disrespectful. And I think that it's fair to criticize, argue, and discuss these points, these ideas. And I think one of the biggest issues I have with the internet, man, is and as we saw in the video, man, people did not want to discuss the point. You saw them all different types of rabbit holes. You saw Brittany going loop the loop all around. And then you saw not just Brittany, but even the people she was arguing with. Up, down, side to side. Argue the point, man. Argue the point, argue the point, argue the point. And I'm going to leave you guys with that. So, thank you guys for staying here for what? Almost 3 hours? 4 hours, actually. 4 hour live stream. I enjoyed it. It was great. Had fun chatting with you guys. Definitely will try to do this more often. We're gonna get a setup going on here. Gonna get some more videos that we can definitely look at and analyze. Gonna have fun chatting with you guys. So by all means, you guys have a great rest of your day.